Good evening, boxing fans. Y'all know the drill. Where you from? Where you at? What are you doing? Post your flag. I want to know where everybody's from. What are you doing awake at this time? Here on the East Coast, I think it's like, 10 something? Next episode of the relay is already done, but I wanted to go live about some other subjects that are on my mind. I touched on them in my last video, but segments can only run for so long to have like an expanded conversation about a lot of this stuff. Sean Porter versus Crawford stuff, Andre Ward helping Caleb Plant, that kind of stuff. Stuff that we've touched on in the past, but like I said, in a episode of the relay, the time is limited. I like to keep the video short. Willie Lynch, what's good? Marky Harlem, Marky, where you been at, man? I ain't see you in 1,000 years since I stopped arguing with people on Facebook. Sophia, always a pleasure. Danny Lopez in the building. Ya tu sabe, ya tu sabe. USA is in the building. The United States is in the building. AJJJ, aka Alex is in the building. Dog, I ain't see you in a minute, dog. I could have used your expertise, man. It's a lot of strange stuff going on in boxing. You know what I'm saying? Chicago, Shot-Town is in the building. And yeah, man, it's just a lot of different stuff going on. Argentinian great, veteran of the sport, Marcela Acuña. She's gonna be in action tomorrow. She's gonna be making her ring return off a very long hiatus. She's fighting a pedestrian level opponent. That's what you expect in those situations. Hyun Mi Choi is gonna be fighting Brazil's Simone de Silva, a fighter who you can categorize as a journeywoman, though I'm sure she's helped a lot of fighters save the date, because Hyun Mi was originally supposed to fight Edith Matisse. Edith pulled out. She's going to be fighting in her own home country of Argentina against a pedestrian level opponent. Hyun Mi Choi wants to get out there, get busy one more time before this year is out, and what could be before a unification match with Terry Harper. Let's hope that goes down. Not a lot of thoughts on that. It's self-explanatory. It is what it is. I'm being told by my inside sources deep on the inside, they are still mentioning me on the other side of boxing Twitter. I don't know why. Like, people are crazy, and I'm gonna have to leave it at that. Like, people is nuts, man. Like, y'all motherfuckers need better shit to do than to think about me, because I don't be thinking about y'all. If not for people coming to me and telling me that people are still talking about me, I would have been done forgot about these motherfuckers. It's wild out here. Buried Rhythms was good. You know what I'm saying? Australia's in the building. Tim Tszyu is fighting, and I'm glad that Australia's in the building, because it reminded me of one of the reasons I wanted to go live. We know that Tim Tszyu's fighting Takeshi Inoue. I already said what I think about that fight. I actually like that fight. I think it's a good fight. The reason that I think it's a good fight is because Takeshi Inoue is a very durable guy. He's proven that much. He was able to withstand Jaime Munguia's power for 12 rounds. We know that Tim Tszyu has looked like a very strong puncher with guys like Bowen Morgan, guys like Jack Brubaker, guys like Steve Spark. But those is more or less domestic level guys. We also know he took out Jeff Horn. Jeff Horn has fought at the world level. A lot of other guys haven't, but he has. Shout out to Drew. Drew is in the building. Oh man, I don't even want to read that shit, bro. But that's what people telling me, dog. That's what they telling me. You know what I mean? Said the mango chicken are mentioning you. They saved the video of me 70 pounds heavier struggling on the agility ladder. LOL. I told you. I said pull up to the fights with that, bro. That's what I mean. It's like, yo, a lot of that shit, bro. It's like, I don't like. It's like what I told Alex in that other video, man. It's like, yo, that energy, I cannot convey that in this kind of a setting. You see what I mean? It's just like, I'll leave it for what it is, man. Like, them, to me, it's wild. I think people got psychological problems. Like, yo, if people still thinking about me after all these weeks, and I'm over here thinking about Fulton versus Figueroa, Joshua versus Usyk, I'm thinking about wild other shit that's not these people. But apparently, what I'm being told, because motherfuckers send me shit, it's like, yo, you know, they still, I'm like, yo, I'm not even surprised, bro. I'm not even fucking surprised. Just keep doing it, man. I could tell y'all like me. If you still talking about me, y'all must like me in some shit, because that's wild. Like, I'm not talking about y'all. I'm not worried about y'all. Y'all need to go live your life. Liam was good. Yeah, and just back to the boxing. Takeshi Inoue is a good opponent to me because he's durable. I think he's more durable than Jack Brubaker. I think he's more durable than Bowen Morgan. Jeff Horn, we saw what Tim did to Jeff Horn. He had his way with him. He played with him. And I want to see Tim in there with somebody that's more or less on that level, along that line. Appreciate that, Willie Lynch. That's why I'm a fan of your content as a creator. You keep this I appreciate that too, Willie. I do what I can because, look, dog, I'm almost 40. The energy that they want is not energy that you use on the internet. And that's the energy that they think they want. And they don't want that. And they know I be at the fights. Was at Choco versus Estrada 2, Loma Nakatani, Valdez last week, and going to AJ versus Usyk. That energy is not there in person, and they don't go. Of course not, bro. Like, bro, you singing. Look, like the reason I don't like to do that shit is because I know that's what they want, and that shit is like I'm gonna feel dumb. I'm gonna feel dumb doing that back and forth shit on it. Like at the end of it, I'm gonna end up feeling dumb. Like, bro, why I did that, and I know that ain't nothing gonna come out of that. And I've been through it before. You can ask people that was in Ring IQ on Facebook that there's all these guys, they all want to do shit to you. They'll pull up, and you give them the opportunity, and then they worry because I got an arm license. It's just a lot of dumb shit. You be like, yo, dog, I cannot use my energy for shit like this. Like, I can't do it. I have wonderful at the moment my eyes open in the morning, it's dedicated to having a nice fucking day. You know what I mean? Woke up this morning, nice breakfast with the missus, went out, bought shit, sneakers for the kids. All like I don't got energy for that fake whatever. Like I don't have it like for that childish shit. The shit they claim they want, I know 100% they don't want that shit. Especially not over no internet, and especially not over no motherfucking boxing. Like if you sat down and thought about the way these cats behave, and if they was actually next to somebody behaving that way over some fucking boxing talk, I can't even. That's why I'm like, yo, dog. I'm gonna keep talking about me. Exactly why I did it when I say, yo, that's what I mean, Drew. It's like it's not even like it's just it is what it is, bro. It's the internet. Like I take it for what it is. It's the internet. You gonna have a lot of that, and it all looks good, and it's like to me, it's like wow, it'd be like. The internet has changed the way that people behave and the world that we live in and what behaviors are deemed as permissible. Remember, I had a dude running around asking people if they know what my wife's ethnicity is. Like it's not a secret. Yeah, my wife is black, but that's not a secret. The real question is, why do you think it's socially acceptable to ask those kinds of questions about a stranger online? Like, don't you realize like how that shit, like you look crazy, bro? It is what it is. Back to the Inoue fight. I like the fight because I want to see how Takeshi Inoue takes Tim Tszú's power. Tim Tszú has looked like a very destructive puncher, especially a body puncher, which I really like. Nobody likes it to the body. You don't have to be the biggest puncher to hurt a guy to the body. And Tim has looked like a strong puncher with the guys that he's been in there with. Inoue strikes me as being more durable than let me read the super chat, the chitty chat. Yo, Willie, trust me, I'm not. Trust me. It's just that I know that it won't go nowhere. For everything that is said, for all of that fake energy, I know it won't go nowhere. You know what I mean? Like it's no sense. I had a dude on Twitter, he was all the way over there in fucking Liverpool somewhere talking about how I'm ass. I'm like, all right, I'll be ass. Because I'll be ass. I'll be that. I will be that. Because I'm here somewhere in an undisclosed military installation in the United States, and you all the way over there in Liverpool talking shit to me. I can't do it with you, man. I can't. I like the shit. I can't do that. That shit, it don't feel right. Now, when it feels right in certain settings. It does not feel right doing that on fucking Twitter. I learned my lesson, bro. You know what I mean? Shout out to Karma. Always in the building. Karma representing the Virgo delegation. Virgo is definitely in the building. They have sent one of their ambassadors. Virgos are very good people, by the way. The thing about Virgos, is they're more intelligent. They're even more, Virgos are smart motherfuckers. I know because my mother's a Virgo, and I know a lot of Virgo people, very good people. And the thing about Virgos is they're deep fucking thinkers, man. If they smart, like if you talk to a Virgo, you be like, oh, this smart motherfucking person. They're smarter than that. There's shit they don't say. Virgos are smart. Virgos is like Capricorns. They're just more emotional. Capricorns are open books. PBC on the hook, almost 100. Yo, dog, talk about it. 100 M's for the Canelo Fury Wilder purses. More fighters will cross the street. Your wife is black and LDBC guys ain't. Ain't. Talk about it. Talk about it. Talk about it. You know what I'm saying? You got cats doing the activism thing, and then you check, yo, what your wife is. Oh, you got an A. Oh, you got A's? I mean, you know, it's all good, man. It's all good. I try, like, I'm not gonna say I'm religious, but I do believe in a higher power. My beliefs are rooted in Judeo-Christianity, and what I will say is that how can I put this? Because I kind of lost my train of thought. People gonna say shit, man. In a nutshell, people gonna say shit in a nutshell. I'm like, yo, dog. Like, I don't know what's wrong with a lot of people out there. I don't know how they. I don't understand how people get up in the morning and behave that way. I don't have to. As long as I'm honest and stay honest and don't, because I'm a very honest person. You know what I mean? It's wild out here, B. It's wild out here. How much more street crossing you think we see? We might see a lot, but then again, you got to look. I take you back, Drew, to the Tim Tszyu situation. Remember, they was looking at Tony Harrison for a fight, and I feel like for Tony, that would have been an opportunity. For Tony, you can make an M going down there. You fuck around, make 2, 3 M's going down there, but the fight didn't work out. Jamel is not going to give him another fight, I don't think. Jamel has a mandatory in Murtazaliev, so he couldn't give you a third fight if he wanted to unless he about to vacate that title. George in the building. I don't think Tim hits harder than his father pound for pound, but he looks faster. P.S. Pisces is Pisces is. I met a couple of Pisces. I'm not going to give Pisces a bad rap, but what I will say is a lot of the Pisces that I met, they're pathological liars. I'm not going to say that all Pisces, for some reason, I met Pisces, like a few of them, and they just got an affinity for lying about shit. I don't know. You know what I mean? Maybe Tyson Fury is a Pisces. What's he? Ain't he a Pisces or some shit like that? Scorpios, you know what a Scorpio is? A Scorpio is an Aries and a Capricorn. Real shit. If you think about it, Scorpios is like Aries and Capricorns rolled into a burrito. Fury is a Leo. Shit. You're the smartest sign. Let me see. You're the smartest sign, so what is the dumbest? I don't think there is a dumbest. I don't think that. I don't think there is a dumbest. I'm not going to say that. Fury is, if he a motherfucking Leo, that make a lot of sense. That make a lot of motherfucking sense. Shout out to Arlette Constable. Harlem is in the building. Wait, Arlette is Arlette from Harlem or the BX? I forget. I'm old. Like, I really forget a lot of shit. But I do want to see at what level does Tim Tszyu's power have any sustainability, because at the level that he's at, a lot of guys could look like punches. And don't get me wrong, I like Tim Tszyu. I think he's been looking the way he needs to look and better in every situation that they put him in. A lot of people feel, myself included, that Michael Zarafa chickened out of that fight. And I wouldn't blame Tim and Brian Rose at all if they never give that man another opportunity, because you don't do no shit like that. It's hard enough working within the constraints of a pandemic for somebody to play with your time and then pull out of the fight. It's hard enough. It's tough enough to orchestrate fights in the middle of a pandemic for him to do that. I wouldn't blame Brian and Tim at all if they don't never offer that man another opportunity, right? But you know, they're doing fights, and Tim's looking really good. He's looking really sharp. He's looking better than he needs to look. But I want to see what kind of sustainability does he have against a really durable opponent who could take a hard shot and apply the pressure. Takeshi Inui is that. I saw when the fight got announced, there was a lot of people that they had mixed reviews. They was asking, well, what about the Brian Castano fight? When is that fight going to happen? And like I said in the video, the WBO have not ordered that fight. You cannot accuse Brian Rose and Tim Tszyu of not pursuing the fight because that's all they've been doing. That's all they've been talking about for fucking months, that they want to bring somebody down there to Australia to have a title fight. And they got 10 M's, that they got 10 M's to play. So you can't say that they're not trying to do it. No, they're trying to do it. But it seems to me that the people that got the belts, they don't want to have to go down there. So they got a problem. Brian Rose, Tim Tszyu, yeah, they got a problem. Because even Brian Castano started talking that shit. I seen an interview where Brian Castano said, oh, well, I'm based out of the United States and my fans is in the United States. So if he want to do the fight, he has to come here. And I'm thinking, bro, they don't know you in the United States the way they know him in Australia. That fight is not a pay-per-view in the United States, but in Australia it is. So let's cut the shit. A Gemini in love is the dumbest, and that is from a personal experience. I dig it. I dig it. T.O. saying he wants legacy and money, but don't want a Loma rematch. Imagine if Frazier, Durant, Morales said that to Ali, Sugar Ray Leonard, and Pacquiao. Rematches and trilogies are a prerequisite. That's the funniest thing is that's a little known fact, Drew. That's how you know you a boxing head, because that's a little known fact. A lot of the most illustrious fighters that you could think of, they fought them. Boxing heads, y'all could tell me how many motherfucking times Sugar Ray Robinson fought Jake LaMotta? Because it wasn't once. It wasn't once. It wasn't just once. How many times Ali fought Sonny Liston? I bet a lot of people think it was just one time. We Geminis are born bipolar. Sorry, everyone. I dig it. Changing the subject, quick second. I can't figure out what Virgil's next move is going to be. What do you think? I think that a fight that makes sense for Virgil, right, because of the politics, the landscape, is Blair Cobbs. I think that's a fight that makes sense. Why? Because the Crawford fight, he's still like, I say he 2 weeks. I'll say that he may be 2 fights away from that fight. You know what I mean? Before they'll be like, okay, you're the mandatory, let's order the fight. He's about 2 fights away from that. And he can't just sit out not doing shit. He can't just do that. What do you think about White versus Valine? I'm surprised. I like the fight. I like that fight. I really like that fight. Let me get to that fight. Let me finish up with this, and I'll get to that fight. Virgil could fight Blair Cobbs. The problem that Virgil has, I would say, is not necessarily Golden Boy's fault. It's not on them. It's just the state of the division. 2 of the belts is all the way tied up, right? Because Errol is out. Errol is going to be out for the foreseeable future. Ugas has been ordered to defend his belts in a 4-man tournament. So you only got one viable avenue to fight for a title, and that guy is fighting Sean Porter. So you don't get to see that guy till the next 2 fights. That means you got to have a fight in between that to stay sharp and stay ready, and then maybe after that you get Crawford. I'm thinking a fight that makes sense is a Blair Cobbs fight. He's unbeaten. You're unbeaten. You're both stablemates. I think a lot of people are probably going to pick Virgil to win that fight because the boy's resume is spectacular. It is. But, I mean, that's a fight that makes sense. Virgil deserves a stake. Yeah, I mean, that's another thing, too. Virgil is fighting guys that a lot of other motherfuckers like, look, I don't got nothing against Boots Ennis. And I don't want this to be mistaken for hate. But when you look at Virgil's resume and you look at Boots' resume, the best guy that Boots fought was a former champion in Sergey Lipinets. That's the best guy that he fought. I know that his situation, right, it's not all on him because you don't see Danny wanting to fight him. You don't see Keith Thurman wanting to fight him. A fight that I think makes sense is a Josecito Lopez fight, but I'm not hearing nothing about that, right? So he may not even be getting the opportunities to have those fights that Virgil has had. Virgil been in there with Samuel Vargas. He been in there with Javier Orozco. He been in there with Mauricio Herrera, Mean Machine, Igis Kavalyauskas. He been in there with Mighty Mo Hooker. He's getting these are great fucking fights for a guy in his position. Those is like experience. He is getting all of that. He's gonna be a monster. Gonna be a fucking monster. I don't know. I don't see that that Boots is having those same opportunities and those same kind of fights. And I feel it's because of where he at. You know what I mean? They staying away from him, bro. That's what's going on. They staying like Keith Thurman ain't fought in 2 years pretending he never heard of Boots Ennis. Stop lying. Danny Garcia want to go up to 154 to fight and beat who, bro? Who are you going to win a belt from? Not Jamel, not Brian. So what are you going up there to do? Probably to avoid Boots, because you know you need an opponent. White asked Eddie for a soft touch, and he gets Otto Valine. Does it make sense? This is what I think, George. What I read is that the Areola fight didn't materialize. What we know is that very recently Sky made a big announcement. They have their own stable. They got a lot of things they're trying to do. A part of me, and I don't know, this is just me, but a part of me feels that they like, yo, you know what, Dillian? We'll give you some bread if you fight this cat because we need to move these subscriptions. Sky is our competitor. Sky is a more well-known platform in the United Kingdom than motherfucking DAZN. So you need fights that people is gonna pay to see. Like, you know, who in the UK want to see White versus Areola? Who? Even White versus Jermaine Franklin. Who really want to see that? But White versus Valine, based on what Valine did to Fury. All right, now you could drive up subscriptions with that. I want a little more adjustments in defense and wrinkles from Virgil. Is it me or do Garcia fighters infight and in? Yo, I'm gonna say this. Virgil, like, I don't see those as wrinkles in Virgil because that's who he is. He is that mid-range to inside fighter. He's not a straight punches guy that he's just trying to box you from the outside. He's a mid-range to inside guy, and at that range, things are gonna get messy. I mean, like, in other words, I feel like when you fight at a certain range, there's certain occupational hazards that come with fighting at that range. If you a mid-range to inside guy, things are gonna get through. You know, uppercuts, body shots, because he opens up. When you open up that much, yeah, you're gonna get touched. So I don't know if I view those as wrinkles. I never saw him get hit with something that it felt stupid. Every time I seen them get hit, it felt more like, well, you know, that's gonna happen when you do that. But you doing that because that's the kind of fighter that you are. You really more of a mid, like, the way he try to plow through a guy he's a mid-range to inside guy. Porter versus Virgil after, I mean, let's see, because that's what I'm thinking. That's the order that I feel shit is gonna happen in. That after he take care of Porter, if he beats him, and I think he's gonna beat him, the next fight, it could be Virgil, it could be Josh Taylor. It depends on if Taylor people, and I don't got nothing against Josh. Y'all know I love him, but his people is his people, and they might say, well, why should we go straight off for Porter when Teofimo talking shit about us? We could take that little motherfucker. If you want the smoke, we got it. Come get it, Teo. Come on. They might decide, yo, let's stay at 140 a little while longer. If we can make this weight and we can make it good, let's see if we can stay here, because this little dude, he keep talking. He keep talking about he want us. We'll be here when you get here, bro. We'll be here. Thurman has a real estate deal waiting, bruh. Boxing Gems, I honestly don't know what direction, if any, that man's career has. Like, bro, 2 years? 2 years. Bro, you could have fought Sergey Lipinets. Fuck, you could have fucking fought Sebastian Formella. That you could sit out for that long and don't fight, and all you doing is interviews and shit, talking about other motherfuckers? I don't know. I don't. Who do they even have over there for you to fight? The only thing I could think of that makes sense is, you know what would make sense? Sacrifice Keith Thurman to Boots Ennis. That would make sense. So we could see Keith get stopped. And y'all could big up Boots Ennis and raise his stock. That's the most logical shit I could think of. Because I'm like, yo, it don't make sense for you to sit out for 2 years. That shit don't make sense. Nalgas flacas. Where's my man Nalgas flacas at? I just seen my man. I agree with Virgil's range. Chavez Senior heyday, he would move it. That's exactly who I was thinking at. When Chavez would go, like, this is the funny shit about people. They'll look at a fighter like Chavez, or more, you know what? More contemporary, because me and Kaylee Reese talked about this here on the channel. Shout out to Kaylee Reese, reigning WBO 140-pound champion. She gonna be in that tournament this fall. We talked about it here on this channel. That Chocolatito is a come forward, aggressive, offensive fighter that has good defense. But his defense, his brand of defense, is lost on the casual observer. They think that he's getting hit with shit and he's riding punches, going with the punch, rolling the shot, and while he's coming forward. He has defense. It's just not that, according to Hoyle, textbook, oh, I'm going to stay away from you all night defense, that people think, oh, that's how defense is supposed to look. No, you can be defensive and come forward if you stay off the line, if you slip punches, if you roll punches and you ride punches and you get under punches. And when I see Virgil, that's kind of what I see, that, yeah, you know, shots get through, but some of them he rides them. Some of them he kind of slips them, you know, so it's not that much on him. Even if things are getting through, it's like that's going to happen when you fight at that range. He seems durable. Like, he's got a chin. Like, I know that he could be better. You could always be better. But I can't say that it's like, yo, it's real wrinkles, problematic wrinkles. Like, when you see, go back and watch Josh Kelly versus Ranowski. If you want to see what I think wrinkles, like, yo, those is wrinkles, bro. When you moving around that much, and you got to move around that much because you don't want to engage the guy in the pocket, I call that a wrinkle, because it's either you're going to engage him or you can operate from the outside. You're doing neither. You're just moving. You're moving and shimmying and shaking and doing a lot of flashy shit that ain't about nothing, because you're not doing nothing. I consider shit like that wrinkles. Virgil, you know, he gets touched up a little bit on the inside, but it's just that at that range, well, that's kind of a given. That's going to happen. You feel it's an indictment on the Garcias. I'm going to say this. I look across the landscape of inside fighters in the sport of boxing today, and I don't see, like, you know what the thing is? Let's talk defense in the pocket. There's only a couple of guys, like, there's only one James Toney. There's only one Pernell Whitaker. There's only one Floyd Mayweather. That they could be that close to you and roll and counter and just keep it up all night and stay with you and roll and counter, and they could be there in front of you instead of moving away from you. It's not a lot of guys like that at all today. So I think about that and I'm like, well, what am I asking Virgil to do? And is it realistic? Because he seems to favor the pocket. He likes to be close to the guy, land heavy, front foot heavy. What am I asking him to do? Something that I don't see a lot of other people doing, I guess. So to me, it's like, I can't expect that much. It feels like I would be asking for too much. Virgil shoots everything at 100%, gets caught on the front foot, may have endurance issues like young Canelo. I don't know about that. He's fought in some really high-octane fights as the fight progressed. His gas tank doesn't seem to be an issue, to be honest. It really doesn't. Anyone else forget Danny Gut? Yo, bro. If not for me bringing him up, I think people would forget he exists. Honest to God. Let's be real. The PBC's true mascot is not Sean Porter, Wilder, Thurman, Spence, or even Tank. It's Gary Russell Jr. Thank you. Duck everybody and then claim champion. Yo, thank you. Because that's how I feel. That's how I feel. If PBC had an unofficial mascot for their business practices and the way that they navigate the careers of their fighters, it would be Gary Russell, because he's the poster child for their practices. You claim that people are avoiding you. Who, bro? The only guy avoiding you is your stablemate. Honestly, that's the only guy. You said that if Al don't deliver you that fight with Leo Santa Cruz, you was gonna go fight Burchell. You said that over a year ago. As it turns out, Oscar Valdez beat you to Burchell. You didn't even try to get Burchell. You didn't go nowhere, bro. You sat right there. You stayed right there. All that shit is cat. You're gonna stay right there. You're gonna stay right there up until Al and Leonard Ellaby decide to feed you to Javante. You're gonna stay right there. All right. If you had an opportunity offered to you to Matchroom, you know how Matchroom is. You get in bed with them once, you might stay there for another fight. Maybe they fight you an off-brand British guy to fight. You know what I mean? You passed on that opportunity to sit out and do interviews with Snow Queen. It's wild out here. I do not pity him. I don't pity him. I don't pity him. Gary Russell is gonna get KO'd. Bro, it's they only fare well against each other. Again, let him leave that island and we'll see how he look because of how his career has been. You've been fighting once a year for 6 years. You didn't fight this whole year. The whole year of 2020, you have not fought. All right. It's looking like you might fuck around and end the year and don't fight. So you passed on Warrington when he had a belt to do nothing. Because doing nothing, that's not beneath you. Fighting Josh Warrington for $1 million, that's beneath you. But doing nothing at all, fighting no one, that's not beneath you. I don't pity you, bro. I don't pity you. That shit is wild. That's the word, bro. Hollywood charades. That's Hollywood. That's the word. That shit don't make sense. And that, remember, even if $1 million does not seem like much for a pandemic, remember that was during a pandemic, right? And it's not like you fought anybody after that. You turned that shit down and you don't even have a fight date. Much respect, fam. Love the perspective Ring IQ gives. Back to one of the subjects. I give Porter a 30% chance to not get embarrassed. I talked about this, and I agree with you. I talked about this when the fight was first announced. I've talked about it. I even talked about it last year. I talked about it at the end of 2019, actually, and the video is up. I posted an excerpt of it very recently when I broke down the fight. Terrance Crawford has fought fighters that have a lower center of gravity before. Short, stumpy fighters that have to stay off the line, swing side to side like a metronome to get mid-range to inside. One of those fighters was Gamboa. Another one of those fighters was Felix Diaz. If you notice, Gamboa gave him problems. That was at 35. That was years ago, right? Crawford is not the same fighter that he was years ago. He's better. He fights Felix Diaz, who's an Olympic gold medalist like Gamboa, and he can't miss this guy. He can't miss this guy while he's moving. He's moving backwards. He's moving lateral. He's hitting him with short punches as the guy comes forward. And remember, if the guy's coming forward and you throw the punch, that make the punch bigger because the guy was coming forward. He was piecing. I never seen Felix Diaz get the shit beaten out of him like that. Before that, I never seen nobody beat the shit out of him like that, right? That was a high-risk, low-reward guy. Guy fought Lamont Peterson. He fought Adrian Granados. Not for nothing. Quiet as kept. Felix Diaz looked better against Adrian Granados than Sean Porter did. And he fought him before Sean Porter. Most people haven't seen that fight. Most people don't remember that fight. He dropped Adrian Granados 2 times in that fight. But people say Crawford hasn't fought anybody good. All right. Diaz should have been able to get fights with PBC fighters. He should have been able to because that's where he was at the time. But he was one of those PBC fighters that they don't really give a shit about. So they let him go. Like, well, we ain't got shit for you over here. None of these guys want you. So go ahead, go over there and have a fight. Because you're not part of our bottom line. I want to say, Tevin's not signed. I don't know what the future holds for him. I just know that he hasn't been with Matchroom. I don't know if Matchroom will decide will decide, to pick him back up. I don't know, but I just know that that relationship ended. I don't know if it'll start over, but I know that it ended after he lost the IBF title, and then the pandemic hit. Remember, he was supposed to have a rematch with Jojo Diaz. All of that got four-way fucked because Diaz had that mandatory in Rakhimov. That really fucked up the situation because even though you got a rematch clause in your contract, which is why I always bring this up, even if you have a rematch clause in your contract, that don't mean shit to your mandatory challenger, and that don't mean shit to the sanctioning body. The only ones that act like that shit means something is the WBC. Anybody else, WBO, IBF, they might tell you, well, we don't give a shit what you put in your contract. You have a mandatory. We don't care about that shit. The fuck? That's why they were so quick to strip Fury, because he had a mandatory after he beat Vlad. But Vlad had a rematch clause, right? And he activated it, and Fury had to come up out of that belt. And that's how it went to Charles Martin. That's how he was able to fight for that shit. They like to say that, oh, AJ this and bro, AJ ain't the one that picked up your belt after you vacated it. Charles Martin picked it up, and he beat him. All right? He beat him. They both headbutt. That's real shit. Now, as far as just Sean Porter, Terrance Crawford, the reason that I feel that Terrance might stop him is because, one, I've seen Terrance Crawford against shorter, stumpy fighters. They have a low center of gravity. They try to stay off the line while they come forward because they have to get close to Terrance. He's taller, so they have to try to get mid-range to inside on Terrance, right? I've seen him in that situation 2 times with 2 Olympic gold medalists. That's the first thing. The second thing is Sean, because he's front foot heavy and coming forward, he's not going to box on the outside. He can't. He's a sitting duck out there. He's going to try to come forward. He has to in order to land punches. Because he has to come forward, Terrance is deadly fucking accurate. If you're coming forward at the time he throws a punch, you add more pop to the punch because you walking into the shit. So I see a situation where he might get clipped the way he got clipped with Spence, but when Crawford clip him, it's going to be harder to recover from. That's how I feel. Could be wrong, don't know, but that's why we watch to find out. So, I mean, it don't matter to me. I'm grateful to Sean for doing what his stablemates don't want to do, because at the end of the day, Danny don't want to know. Danny don't want to know. Keith don't want to know. And low, quiet as Cap, Errol didn't want to know. The roles are reversing. And I want to give a special shout out to Boxing Beats and Rhymes. And one of his Boxing Beats Weekly videos that he did, he highlighted this, that the landscape could change in boxing at any minute, right? And Errol might have been the #1 guy. Maybe he was. I don't know. You ask around, different people going to tell you different shit. What I know is that for the last 2 years, Errol has only fought 2 times. But even if you had him as #1, the situation has changed to where Ugas has a better win, name value, right? He has a better win than you do in Pacquiao. If Crawford fucking knocks out Sean, he gonna upstage all of y'all, because Sean fought all of y'all. He fought Danny, he fought Ugas, he fought Spence, he fought Thurman. None of y'all knocked him out. Terrence might. And this is what the critics wanted. Terrence Crawford said that he's happy about this fight because it gives him a chance to silence the critics. The critics wanted this fight more than me and you. Remember that. Don't forget that. They wanted this. When we was talking about we want Crawford and Spence, what they was talking about was they want Crawford and Porter. Oh, he should have to fight Porter. He should have to fight Porter right after the Spence fight. Y'all got what y'all wanted. This is what y'all wanted, right? Some of y'all was saying that Porter would beat him. I didn't forget that. They probably done crawled into a hole in the ground by now, but it was people saying Sean would beat Crawford. Go back to those videos from immediately after the Spence fight. Look at the comments. There's people that's, oh, Sean to beat Crawford. Really? That's how you feel? All right. How do you feel now that the fight is made? How do you feel? Do you want to bet money on that? Because you feel Sean to beat Crawford. That's how you felt after the Spence fight. Did you change your mind? When did you change your mind? When the fight got made? Because they weren't banking on that fight happening. They didn't think it was going to happen. They was hoping that you could delay the shit by talking about some shit that ain't going to happen, right? I want to open up the I'm gonna open up the chat to y'all. We gonna get all the way into these boxing talks. We gotta get all the way into these boxing talks. And I want to get people's reaction for this shit. They were banking on the fight not happening. That's the look of it. That they're gonna keep harping about how Crawford, he need to fight him and he need to fight him and he gotta fight Sean, because they didn't think that the fight was gonna happen. I bet you now that the fight is happening, you're gonna start hearing different shit. Leo is good. So we got Crawford versus Porter. It's a good fight. It's not the fight that we was asking for all these years, right? And we were celebrating it just the other day. It's still a good fight. It's still, to me, it's the best fight the welterweight division will have produced this year. This year is the best fight. Do you think that Crawford stops him?
To be honest, I think Crawford should dominate Sean Porter. I don't know if he's knocking him out, but I want to ask something to you, Julius. Do you, because I expect Terrance Crawford winning 8, 7 rounds decisively. Okay, if he's not doing that in that fight, I think Crawford is a pound for pound fighter, one of the best of the world.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
but if he's not dominating Sean Porter in the way I expect, I think it's time to start saying Porter. I'm sorry, Terrance Crawford is a little bit overrated in the
I
welterweight division.
I would agree. See, this is the thing, right? Porter, Crawford, right? On my pound for pound list, he's losing ground. He hasn't lost ground yet. He's behind Canelo. I have Canelo at number one.
Yep.
But Inui is catching up to Crawford. He's catching up to him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's a situation to where, look, you were already kind of losing ground to that guy. And it's not Crawford's fault. We know what the situation has been, that you haven't been able to get the fights with the people that would have kept you there. Ugas is not talking about fighting you. He's talking about fighting a dude that's injured right after the fight. Who Ugas called out? Spence. Right? So
Yeah.
you was already in a fucked up situation that kind of stifled your career, right? That's one.
Yeah.
Two, the guy behind you, he has the chance to have the kind of fights that you not having. He has the remember, even if they can't get Casemiro in the ring, and I think that they might not, right? I bet you we could get Inui versus MJ Akhmadaliev at 122. Let's say he fights Donaire for the second time and he beats him. Let's just say that. After that, he can't get undisputed. Maybe he can, but he could probably get MJ Akhmadaliev, and MJ has 2 belts at 122, 4-division unified champion. Think about that. That would be enough that Inui should go ahead of Bud. That would be enough.
Yeah. The thing is this. For example, Manny Pacquiao was one of the best pound for pound fighters in the world. At this stage, I didn't see really beating a prime Terence Crawford. I didn't even see Manny Pacquiao defeating Sean Porter. Not because he's not a good boxer. It's not because he's a great boxer, but he's old.
Yeah.
In and his age is catching up. But Terrence Crawford is one of the best pound for pound fighters in the world. But maybe, just maybe, after these performances with against Sean Porter, we can say, okay, he is number two. He is number one, maybe. If he defeats Sean Porter in dominant fashion. But if he's competitive, if we can call it a draw in the way Errol Spence defeated Sean Porter, because that fight could be either way. Sean Porter versus Errol Spence. What I'm saying is Sean Porter's fights against Thurman, fights fought against Danny
Let's let
Garcia.
I see
So,
your point that they were close, but this is what I'll
yeah,
say, right? This is what I'll say. This is what I'll say. Because there's always two sides to an argument that if the Crawford fight is as competitive as the Spence fight and the Thurman fight, and all the fights that Sean has had, right? Let's just say that
yeah,
the Crawford fight has a competitive aesthetic the way that all of those fights had. Is that really an indictment against Crawford or a credit to Sean that it doesn't matter who he's in there with? Sean is gonna Sean. Sean is gonna show up and it's motherfucking showtime. That's the other way you gotta look at that,
yeah.
right?
But that indictment in this case, I don't think can be made because Crawford is more accomplished,
That's true.
has shown more skill against bigger variety, una gran variedad de peleadores,
Yeah.
um, undisputed in
Yeah.
140. So I can say is Sean Porter's credit. I must say if he doesn't deliver in the way I think he's gonna deliver, is because Terence Crawford is not that good at welterweight.
Hmm. Let's and this is like I love this conversation because it adds that X factor to the fight. I don't like that people get so comfortable and they just, oh well, Sean, Crawford this, Crawford that. No, there's a chance that Porter will make him work for it. There's a
Mm,
chance he's made everybody else work. Everybody else, everyone.
yeah,
Kel Brook, Keith Thurman, Danny Garcia, Yordanis Ugas, Errol Spence Jr. It's like, yo, that's what he do, bro. Win or lose, you got to work when Sean's in the ring. You got to work.
yeah,
He's gonna make you work. If Crawford, so the shoe on the other foot, and I'm fairly confident. See, what I see is that Crawford takes about 2 to 3 rounds to get warmed up before he's seen what he wants to see, and he's looking for tells from the other fighter. Takes him about 2 3 rounds usually. In those 2 3 rounds, that's Sean's opportunity to come on strong. Come on strong. But I've
yeah,
seen that Ugas fight. It stands out to me like I don't know how Sean is going to approach this. Is he going to try to approach this the way he did Ugas? Because with Ugas, he wasn't running in. With
no,
Ugas, he was waiting to get in there. You know what I mean? He didn't bull rush him the way he rushed Thurman. I don't know what he's going to do. Now, what I see is if you try to do with Terrence what you did with Ugas, he's going to pick you off long range because he
yeah,
can. He's going to pick you off long range. So your best bet is to rush him because he's not used to guys rushing. He's not used to guys really rushing him that often. But the two little guys I've seen that did try to rush him, he beat the fucking shit out of them. He
yeah,
did. Gamboa tried to rush him. He got bounced off the fucking canvas. Felix tried to rush him, and he got beat worse than Gamboa.
yeah.
Isan, does Terrence Crawford stop Sean Porter?
You said, does he stop Sean?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
How confident are you on a scale of 1 to 10 that he stops Sean?
10.
10? Real that confident?
Yeah. I am.
I'm more of a 7 or 8 confident that he
Nah.
stops
All
Sean.
right. Yeah. Let me relax. I think I think like 8. 8.
8.
Because like my thing is that what I'm like trying to see is because we've seen it before. Crawford knocks dudes out backing up, man.
Yeah.
And if you gotta think about it, Sean, you know what he does? He comes in,
Comes
he dips
forward.
down low, bob and weaving, super wide hooks.
Mm-hmm.
Late in the fight, Crawford's, he's not gonna do it early. He's gonna get his time in, back up for a couple rounds, box his head in, and then one of those uppercuts when Sean's dipping down, he's not gonna see it. Remember with Benavidez? He didn't throw uppercut for the whole fight,
Mm-hmm.
and look what
Mm-hmm.
happened when he did. So I mean, maybe Sean can take the punches, but I think he gets knocked down at least.
The thing, you know what the thing is? I look. I think about the guys that hit Sean, and the age of the fighters now. Brooke is actually a strong fucking guy for what it's worth.
Yeah.
When he fought Sean, he was a strong fucking guy. Keith Thurman, I'm hearing more and more from things that fighters say that Keith is actually a bigger puncher than Errol. I'm hearing
Yeah,
that.
Danny said that himself.
Danny said that. I think Bundu said that years ago. Leonard
Yeah.
Bundu. He said that shit. And when I first heard it, I'm like, that don't make sense, bro. Errol knocked you out, and Sean and Keith went the distance with you. So I'm like, look, I don't think that Sean is a shot fighter, by the way. That's bullshit. No. I don't think that's bullshit. Like, that's
what that is, bro. You know exactly what that is. It's just preset fucking excuses. They're gonna say, "Oh, the knockdown he suffered from Errol fucked him up," and even though it's been 2 years.
And you know what this shit is, Eson? If you feel that he is shot fighter, then why after the Spence fight, y'all cats was the ones asking for Crawford to fight? Remember after the fight?
Yeah, they said,
they was the ones Crawford that was asking for that.
I bet Crawford won't fight him. I said, why do you want him to fight the loser? Why not the winner?
The fuck does he get out of there? Now that the fight is made, now Sean gotta be shot. Cut the shit. Cut the shit.
It's that shit that these guys do. Pretending Terrance Crawford is not a world champion. They want to pretend this guy is not elite. He is a world champion in the same way Jordan Isugas is a world champion, in the same way Manny Pacquiao was a world champion.
If not better, because and people, I remember that when I said this, a lot of people, Kiki, it's the fucking truth. Jeff Horn gave Manny all he could handle. The Manny that went on to beat Broner, Jeff did better against Manny than Broner. Jeff did better than Manny than Keith. All right, that's the truth. He did do better than Keith. All right. So when I see Crawford go in there with that same Jeff, ragdoll him. Jeff not winning a round, bro. This man didn't win a round.
Crawford bullied him.
He bullied him, and that was moving up.
You know what's crazy is I have one of these guys that I met on Twitter, my boy Johnny. Shout out to him. We always have this back and forth. He tells me I'm waiting for Bud to face a top dog, and I use the example. I say, okay, him moving up and beating the guy that made Manny look 50 doesn't make him a top dog. So Horn beating Manny didn't make him a top dog, but Thurman beating Danny did. Thurman beating Porter did. And I'm like, I don't understand. And it's like, what people don't like to accept this, but honestly, some of Crawford's 147 competition, they may not have the name recognition, but I guarantee you put them in with Sean, Keith, Danny, they probably win a good amount of those fights. Jeff Horn versus Danny Garcia. Who do you like?
I'm just gonna tell you, and I've maintained this for a while. I honestly believe Mean Machine would have beat Keith.
Me too. I think Danny. Yeah.
Keith is too fragile, bro. Look, he got hurt. Josecito hurt him, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Josecito not supposed to hurt you, bro. You're not supposed to be getting hurt by a guy like that. But he hurt you, bro.
Jeff's a big dude. He's not small.
Now, what I'm gonna say is this. Jeff is a quality one in my book. Why? Not just because he was a champion, not just because he made Manny look old, but because that was Crawford's first fight. He didn't have 3 fucking fights, and then he fought Jeff. Like, remember, Danny fucking fought fucking Ross Salka, Paulie Malignaggi on the way up, so that you could win a vacant WBC title with the ghost of Robert Guerrero. And you were top dog because of that. You top shelf. But that makes you top shelf.
Yeah. You know what's funny too is I remember all this shit. As soon as Manny lost to Jeff, everybody was saying Manny's overrated. Manny's overrated. Oh, Jeff's great. Soon as Crawford moves up and scalps him, oh, Horn's not shit. He got a gift over Manny. What happened to the other thing?
What happened to the narrative?
Yeah,
Look.
Keith
Thurman.
Bud can't do shit. He can't do anything without. He's not gonna get credit. He's gonna be one of those guys.
Listen. Before Keith fought Manny, before Keith lost to Manny, right? He did an interview with Marcos Villegas, and what was he saying? Jeff beat Manny, and he was qualifying the shit like, no, full on. It ain't no gift.
I know. Yeah, I remember that video. He said, and Villegas was like, no, you think Horn beat Manny? He said, yes. That's when I started calling T-Rex arms. Talk all that shit.
Let me see who this is. Who this? Who that? Who's DG? All right.
Hello?
Who's DG? I ain't gonna say nothing, so we ain't got time for that. Bang. It's like just the way you broke it down is so perfect. Like, what did Danny do against who at 147 that he supposed to be top shelf? Please explain that shit.
It's really just it's crazy to me because I feel like it's more about name recognition, but even then it's like these guys, like, they're not even like I don't know. It's basically about who their favorite fighters beat.
Listen,
and they want to make them the elite. They want to make the guys that their favorite fighters beat as a standard. That's really it.
Thurman has been living off Danny Garcia and Sean Porter, I swear to God, for 4 or 5 fucking years. Because remember, he fucking fought Danny in 2017. And I think he fought Sean in 2016. Bro, we in 2021. You ain't done no top shelf shit in 3-4 years, bro.
All he did was lose.
But they still talk about him like, nah, he this. Like, yo, are you fucking kidding me? The dude hasn't fought in 2 years, bro. In the last 3 years, he went life or death with Josecito, and he lost to Manny. But you gonna say, yeah, Crawford gotta fight him, yo. Crawford gotta fight. It's well out here.
I'm really curious to see because isn't it funny how things have flipped in the welterweight division now? You really see how things are changing. Sneaky under the radar, things are changing. This PVC's stable is starting to die down a little bit.
Listen, bro, watch those ranks because they lining up their soldiers to get in them mandatory positions, and they're gonna put people in uncomfortable situations. Like, yo, dog, like, you can't, you know, like, look, Errol been a unified champion for 2 years, and he's only fought 2 times. Nah, bro, like, it has to stop. You can't do that. You better move up. And the other thing is, look, if Errol was number 1, if he was, right, let's just say that. Let's say because he was unified, he was number 1. Okay, you fought 2 times in the last 2 years, right? You didn't fight at all this year, right? We don't know when you're coming back. And when you come back, can you still make welterweight? Can you? Because Errol is a dude that debuted as a junior middleweight, all right?
He's been killing himself for years. I don't care what anybody says. I don't care what anybody says. That's see, things like everything that's going on with Errol over the past 2 years, and like me knowing that like he don't make that weight easy. I'm telling you, I was confident Manny was gonna get him. And plus his eye injury too. People saying, "Oh man, he would have stopped Manny." Look at the punches.
Listen to me. I said this shit after the fucking fight. Look at Ugas's face. Look at Ugas's face after that fight. Remember,
them jabs, Manny's jabs.
Which is the eye that got fucked up, right? The left eye is the one that got fucked up in sparring.
Manny's right jab would have been there all night. That's what I'm saying.
Manny's a southpaw, bro. What hand is he gonna jab with? The right. And what's that in line with? Your left eye. Yo, dog, like, it's like, it ain't cap. It's not hate. This dude's jab, and you know Manny likes to throw 2, 3 jabs. He'll double, triple up his jab. And your eye is right there for all of that.
And people gotta realize too, Ugas and Spence have 2 different styles. Spence is a lot more aggressive.
Yeah, Spence like to be in front of you.
Exactly, which means what? And you know what happens when you're traded with Manny. Even at this age, he's gonna catch you. He may not catch you anything crazy, but he's gonna catch you. And if he would have kept hitting that eye over and over, if you got fucked up in sparring with headgear, imagine Manny Pacquiao hitting you.
Look at Ugas. Ugas won the fight. Let's not argue. Ugas won the fight, right? He got hit, but he got hit. He got hit. Look at his face. Look at his eyes after the fight.
It's crazy because his left eye looked way worse than his right.
Because of the southpaw. This is what I'm saying.
And it's like, if Arrow's eye, if your retina got detached and sparring with headgear, what's gonna happen in a real fight with Manny fucking Pacquiao?
All of that is common sense. Like, your dog, your retina got detached while you was wearing headgear. Take the headgear off, put a southpaw in there with you. What's gonna happen?
Yeah, man, I'm so mad that fight got canceled. Hindsight now, I'm like, damn, man, I was about to bet hundreds on that fight too, and I'm confident Manny would have had he would have had to stop. The doctors probably would have stopped it if his eyes over there bleeding and shit.
Uga showed us in the Sean Porter fight that he know how to fight the right fight. What I mean by that, Sean gave Ugas the respect that he did not give Errol, that he did not give Keith Thurman. He was all in their wheelhouse, all in their chest. With Ugas, he had to pick his moments to try to do something because Ugas know how to keep the guy on the outside. To your point, Ugas fight different than Spence. Spence, he'll jab and step in to get close to you, try to do the body shots. But if you do that, you know it's easier for Manny to hit you because you're closer to him. You're not keeping him out of you doing that. Fuck around, and I'm not because I'm not no Pacquiao stan. I'm not. But fuck around. I'm telling you, fuck around. If it would have went through, Manny fuck around, and he could have retired off of that. Bro, if he would have won that fight,
can you imagine? That's why I'm so mad.
Bro, I would have ran outside, slapped the first person I seen. Like, Manny just beat Errol Spence.
Yo, Julie, nah. You know what? I don't think he should do it, but it wouldn't really surprise me if next year Manny and Errol do decide to do the fight. Imagine, I don't think it'll happen, but imagine that. That would be like,
you know why not? Because of the 250, bro. Because of the 250. It's like you talking about a 42-year-old welterweight. He hasn't fought in the last 2 years, and when he did fight, he lost. And you see what the buys were. That Manny, in today's environment, the dude couldn't crack 300,000 in today's environment. So it's like, your dog, like the kind of money that you gonna want to fight Spence, right? The kind of money you gonna want. Who really gonna try to give you that? Like, what you want, 20, 25 million? We know you 42 years old, so you ain't gonna fight on the cheap. And the last time you got out there, you didn't even do the numbers that you did with Broner. You didn't even do the numbers that you did with Thurman the last time you got out there. So is they really gonna even want to give you 20? Like, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying, like, yo, it looked like what it looked like. 250 is not good. That's not good, bro.
That's not Manny's fault. It's just the environment we live in now. It's not 28. It's not 2008.
Exactly.
It's not years ago. It is what it is.
I think that the numbers possibly could have been better if Errol would have stayed on. But another part of me is, if because I think that it would have performed better if it would have been Errol for this shit. But at the same time, I'm like, yo, dog. What was his guarantee for that fight? Because I don't know what he was supposed to make for that shit. I really don't. But if he start talking at 20 M's, bro, you can't just you gotta sell $1 million at least, or at least close to $1 million pay-per-views to warrant a guarantee like that. 20 mil?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, that division, it's gonna be. My thing with Errol is if he's gonna be gone for, like, let's say 6-8 months or whatever, that IBF title, man, or I don't know what they're gonna do with those titles.
Listen, bro. I heard that one of the WBA's old officiates has jumped ship from the WBA, and now he went to the IBF. So look out for the funny business. Look out for the funny business. Willie Lynch, shout out to Willie Lynch, who says, honestly, I've given you more money than I've ever given PPC all year. Their pay-per-views are trash. I'd rather listen to boxing talk. Yo, I appreciate that, bro. I really do, bro. I appreciate everybody that contributes to the channel, bro. That's why we here. We here to shoot the shit as boxing fans, B. Because The PBC not gonna do. The PBC not doing us no goddamn favors, bro. The market is so saturated right now when you think about it. You have Wilder versus Fury 3 October, which is a pay-per-view. Also, you have Lopez versus Cambosos, which is a pay-per-view. And in November, you have Canelo versus Plant, which is a pay-per-view. Also, Crawford versus Porter, which is a pay-per-view. Then Javante Davis posts a comeback in December, which is a pay-per-view. It's wild out here. Be like, yo, what y'all think we made of money? It's wild out here.
Julius, I was discussing this with Mark about the Teofimo Lopez versus George Cambosos pay-per-view
Mm-hmm.
and the possible Loma rematch against Teofimo.
Mm-hmm.
And I said um, the only real reason why that Loma rematch is such a hot topic right now is because Teofimo is not fighting no one.
That's true.
Because yeah, it was a close competitive fight. Yeah, Loma's shoulder was injured, uh, allegedly. But if Teofimo was doing something, anything besides waiting for the George Cambosos fight, the Loma rematch was like, okay, yeah, maybe, possibly it doesn't have to do it. But now it's a hot topic because Loma's fighting. Loma's fought a guy after losing with you,
Exactly.
and you haven't fought nobody.
The last time, the best way to put it, Leo, is the last time we saw you was with Loma. So that's still in our brain because that's the last fucking time we saw you. Whereas with Loma, it's different because the last time we saw him, he's beating the shit out of Nakatani. So we like, yo, you know what? I might want to see a rematch because he look alright now. Like he look alright now. The
Yeah.
other thing is this. And I think that Alexis said this on the last live. Shout out to Alexis. He said that what did he say? He said that you still in the lightweight division and you still have the titles, and that's kind of creating that situation too. They're like, well, it's not like you left 135, you still there, and you about to defend the title there. But when they bring up Loma, you want to act some type of way, but like, yo, dog, you still at lightweight. You
Yeah.
still there, bro. Like if you
Yeah,
really if like you think about it this way, he didn't just now start talking about Josh Taylor. He didn't. He been talking about Josh Taylor and moving. He been talking about that, and you haven't done it yet. You literally still about to defend the title. Shout out to Deed who says these
yeah, and
pay-per-views. Let me just read the super chats because
okay.
I got three here. These pay-per-views are trying to hurt my piggy bank. T.O. won't beat a bigger name than Loma, in my opinion. Ow, hot take, hot take. What do you think about Ward being the one who reached out to Plant? Oh, yeah, we got to get to that, bro. We definitely got to get to that. Go ahead, Leo.
It's, with Theo is Lomachenko is your biggest payday now. It's not just Cambosos. I don't know. Is even Josh Taylor your biggest payday?
It's
Lomachenko is your
not.
biggest payday.
It's not. You know why it's not?
Why?
It's a big fight. Don't get me wrong, but it's a big fight in the UK. Do you think T.O. wants to go there?
No,
No.
he's whack as hell for that, man.
That's
He's whack.
paper. That's pay-per-view in the UK. Why? Because Josh has Sky now. He has Sky. You could do it on pay-per-view, but
Wait,
he
wait, wait,
don't want to travel.
wait. What?
Josh Taylor is with Sky because Top Rank has a deal with Sky. They're showing their fights.
Oh,
Yes,
right.
they're showing their fights over there in the United Kingdom. And Josh Taylor's next fight, which is gonna go down in Scotland against Jack Catterall, right? Sky is gonna show that fight. All right. So now you have an avenue of opportunity to where you could be in a pay-per-view and it don't gotta be with Loma, but you don't fucking want to travel. You got a and the other thing is, look, you got a better chance of beating Loma again than you have of beating Josh. That's facts. Like, bro, that dude is bigger than you, bro. All that little crazy shit. You hit Nakatani with your best, and that dude kept coming. Josh is a bigger dude than Nakatani that could punch better than Nakatani. He a better boxer than Nakatani. So let's be real about the shit. Your best win, and I don't got nothing against it, but it is the truth. Your best win is a dude that had to move up to lightweight. That's your best win. Dude that had to move up to lightweight.
Yeah, and let's be real. The only reason Lomachenko moved up 2 weight classes is because he didn't have a significant fight in the other 2 classes above him.
Exactly.
O sea,
Remember, he couldn't get shit. He couldn't get
no,
shit at 130.
nothing.
Nothing.
Yeah, nothing was gonna happen there. It's crazy because now Top Rank has a good amount at 130.
Yo, dog, I literally thought that. You know what I used to think? Maybe he'll move down and fight Oscar Valdez. I used to think that.
I don't. I mean that. I think. I don't think he said before he doesn't want to. I think a part of it is that his ego. You know, like Loma wants to get that rematch, or at least like if let's say if Tia moves up and vacates titles, Loma will probably just stay at 135 and just try to get belts again. I don't know. I don't know if he's gonna go back down. I don't know. He's been pretty against that the past few years.
If Tio leaves, right, who in that division is gonna beat him? Right? Think about that. Fucking Ryan crying Ryan Garcia.
No.
I don't think
No.
so. I don't think so. Devin Haney, it's not on Haney. I'm not gonna put it on him. Bob does not want to make that fight. Do I think Loma could beat Haney? Yes, I actually do. I think he could beat him. But for whatever reason, Bob don't want to make that fight. Maybe it's because he doesn't want to have to pay Haney because he knows Haney won't come in here and he gonna want more than he got for Linares. What did he get for Linares? $3 million fucking dollars. So
Julius,
what is he gonna want me to pay him for Loma?
You know what I was thinking though? I was thinking maybe Haney like maybe I don't want to say it was a negative effect on him because he got his money, so I'm not nothing wrong with making your money, obviously, but I feel like with Devin he's kind of in a corner because for right now at least, because you go to Top Rank where most of lightweight is, you got Loma, Tio for now, but most titles are there. But they're not gonna pay you what you're making over at the Zone. It's not gonna happen. Exactly. But at the same time, the Zone does not have the fights that you need right now. And even at 140, Top Rank still has a good amount of 140. So it's like right now, like you said before in your videos, he needs to get up there fast before Tio does if he's gonna do anything.
That's the look to me. This is the strategy, right? You a free agent right now. You a free agent, so you could work out some shit, or you could try to work out some shit to where in America you a the Zone fighter, but in the UK you a Sky fighter. That'll give you access to Sky's fighters, right? Because the shit is now you still playing around defending the title at motherfucking lightweight, and to fight who, bro? You're not gonna get Javante. Nobody's gonna get Javante. Ryan is over here. Ryan is just pussyfooting around. I feel
he's
like
not gonna last in this sport.
He's no court. Like everybody looked at the mental health shit. What's good, Sean? Everybody looked at the mental health shit as like, oh, people was attacking him. No, it's just facts are facts are facts. This is a high pressure sport. It's a lot of tension, a lot of nerves, and
if you breaking down,
you broke down, bro. So if you breaking down because of your issues, whatever they are, because ain't nobody knocking you. But if you breaking down because of your issues ahead of a Fortuna fight, what you gonna do the night of a Teofimo fight or a Loma or just somebody like that you big night, big nerves, high stakes shit, 50-50 fight. You ain't been in one of those. You haven't. If you ain't got the nerves for a 60-40 to a 70-30, how you gonna have the nerves for a 50-50?
Yeah, my thing, I did want to get your opinion though because I it is something I'm curious about because I don't know where David can go where they're gonna pay him the money that DAZN's paying him. Probably nowhere. And exactly, but also, who does DAZN have at 35 or 40 for him? Exactly. So it's like I feel like there's gonna come a time where, like, Devin's gonna have to make a choice. Like, do I take unless he becomes a star?
Devin made his choice. He's choosing the money, and we can feel about it how we want to feel about it, but he made his choice because, you see a young guy too, and his dad. You know what I mean? You getting $3 million for a guy like Linares. You're not going to negotiate backwards and be like, well, we going to take this hit so that we can get these fights. Why we not going to take the hit? Because we was already making more than this. So we stuck on that, and we trying to move up from that, not move backwards. He's really in a fucked up spot which is
He
why
is.
I've been saying, go abandon ship. Nobody cares. You got the real WBC. I don't give a fuck who swear allegiance to who. He has the real WBC.
He does.
Nobody wants to fight you for it, bro. So get the fuck out of there. Get out of there.
That's the best thing he can do, because honestly, him sitting there is gonna waste his years and a negative affect his body at a certain point. Because it's like yeah, he just is in a bad position. That's why I never found
Fuck
that
out
whole.
of there, bro.
I never found the whole email champ shit funny. I'm like, nah, like that situation ain't. It's not okay.
Look, man.
He
Look,
wanted to
man.
face for the title, Loma. He wanted Loma, whoever had the title, and it ain't
Look,
Loma's
man.
fault either. But
Yeah, that thing with Devin Haney, um, I think it's a WWC fault because you can't just handle a title a guy that is not that relevant. Is this guy is not Triple G? You can just handle a title that nobody is gonna care if he is the legit lightweight WBC champion if he's not fighting anyone for that title. If you get that title vacant and say Devin Haney fighting somebody for that title, yeah, that could be better at that
pe-
time.
people.
But
Oh,
he
sorry.
got
Keep going.
handled that he got handled the title.
He did.
He gonna,
Look.
he,
Yeah,
yeah,
Vamos a decir esto. First, let me shout out Jaime Nieto. Shout out to Jaime Nieto. I appreciate that, bro. I agree with Leo because this mess, regardless of what Bob wants, this mess don't happen if the WBC don't do what they
yeah.
did.
They fucked it all up.
How you go from not holding a WBC title at all to being franchise champion? That's what they did for Loma. Right after he won the belt, the vacant belt with Luke Campbell, and it was really Luke Campbell's title shot. That's the other dumb shit. It was really his title shot, not Loma's.
Yeah,
How you go from you didn't even have a green belt to we gonna make you franchise? All you got to do is ask for it, and we gonna give it to you. Y'all created this mess.
yeah.
Y'all didn't want it to look. Y'all knew Bob don't want to make that fight for whatever reason. He just I once again I believe it's not
It's just
even
because the money.
it's the money. He knew, look, if Devin Haney's loan is mandatory, they're not going to take no offer that we give him. They're going to hold out and wait for the purse bid. And when it goes to purse bid, Eddie fucking Hearn is going to come in here and he's going to try to win the bid to get Loma to fight on the zone. Bob was already mad about that with the Crowler fight because that's what they tried to do. They tried to use, Crowler's the WBA mandatory. Well, we want to get Loma to fight on the zone at least once. And Bob was like, no, Crowler, take this extra bread. We doing this on ESPN. He already had went through it. So when he see Devin on here, y'all go. Y'all not gonna take no offer that I give y'all.
He stopped it before it was even ordered.
Bingo.
That's why people don't understand the sport, and they don't understand that it's not always the fighter's fault when things happen. It's a lot of times it is a promotion. We all know this, but people are so worried about trying to blame a fighter they don't like that they can't just see it was Bob. It was Bob in the WBC.
People was calling me like I'm this hardcore, and it's like, yo, dog, like this is why I only talk to like guys like you, Leo, Country, because it's like, yo, dog. It's not me going up the bat for Vasil Lomachenko. It's that this is literally what's going on. This is what happened.
It's easy to see because you're smart and you're not biased.
Eddie was trying to get Lomachenko to fight on the zone, and he knew the only way I could get that shit to happen is with these mandatories. I got two of them. I got Anthony Crowler via the WBA, and I got Devin Haney via the WBC. If one don't work, we'll go for the other. Because once this goes to purse bid, we could use all this DAZN money to outbid Top Rank. And what Top Rank did was they beat you to the punch. Like, nah, ain't gonna be no mandatory because he's franchise. They don't have mandatories. You can have that belt. Keep it. Go ahead. Do what you want to do with it. You want the belt? You got it. There you go.
Yeah, that's
proceed.
And the thing is, Bob Arum is not that is excited in the prospect of having an undisputed champion fighting for him. He doesn't really care.
Nah.
No.
Nah.
Because
Bob go where the wind blow. Bob go
Yeah.
with, because remember, even though in the past he might have been one way, he got Josh Taylor undisputed.
But
Terrence
that's because he
Crawford.
had all those.
Wait. I know. I'm just saying that Bob is negotiable, for lack of a better word. That if this is what they want, okay, I got you. Y'all give a fuck about undisputed? Let's make Terrence Crawford undisputed. Let's get him there. Let's get Josh Taylor to undisputed. Let's see if we could get Teofimo. Until the WBC stepped in and did that bullshit, the plan was to fight for undisputed. That was the plan for Teo. Like, all right, we're gonna get you this red belt. Loma talking this belt shit, so we're gonna get you this opportunity to fight for the red belt. Then he'll fight you, all right? And they did all of that. But on the side, Devin Haney was working his way up them ranks. Eddie was trying to use that as an opportunity to get Loma on the zone. It's like as you stated, Isan, it's not always, oh yeah, this fighter's scared of that fighter. Nah, it ain't always that way. Sometimes it's the business that fucks shit up.
Yeah, but people just don't know about the sport enough because they just started watching. They don't understand that. Yo, there's a whole nother side to this shit. It's not all about like fighters saying, "Okay, let's fight." Like, no, if it was that simple, we wish.
Yeah, it's a lot of shit. Now, just to finish off, I was asked about the Ward shit because I had a question before. Who came to who? Did Caleb Plant go to Ward or did Andre Ward go to Caleb? And we now have that answer. Andre Ward volunteered to help Caleb. I seen the interview by way of Fight Hype, talking about, that's his brother, all this wild shit. Damn, y'all. I appreciate that, bro. I talk mad smack about Ryan because in the end he doesn't have what it takes. I'd rather he just do anything else than get hurt. Boxing is not a game, and it will destroy you if you keep playing. Yo, look, I think he should do the movie shit, bro. I honestly don't feel like, to me, like I said, if a 60-40 to a 70-30 situation fucks with your nerves and shit like that, and you really can't just power through it, what's a 50-50 situation gonna do to win?
Yeah, he doesn't have the mental fortitude for that.
Shout out to Jacob Sims, who says, that's why I say there's only a few true ducks in the sport. We know who they are, but for the most part, it's promotional shenanigans keeping these fights from. And I agree with that. Everybody wants a one-size-fits-all answer for every situation, and they're not all like that. Some ducks actually is ducks. Other situations, nah, it wasn't even a fighter. It was his manager or his promoter. For example, right? Samson Lukowicz, right? They asked him about the Caleb Plant fight before the pandemic hit. He said, no, we don't want to do that fight right now because we want it to be a pay-per-view. Maybe in 2 to 3 fights. Barbershop Conversations did that interview, right? So even though I feel David will beat the fucking shit out of Caleb Plant, at the end of the day, it's still your manager's fault. It's still your promoter's fault why that fight didn't happen. I don't think David is afraid of Caleb. I think that your promoter delayed this fight and he screwed the pooch. The responsibility is on you. But as far as the fight, no, I think David will win the fight. He'll beat the shit out of Caleb. He'll beat the shit out of Caleb.
Big. I always said that David would stop him like late. He gets after the 5th round, he gets hit way too much, and David's way too big. You ain't gonna be trying to shoulder roll.
Him off. He not gonna with that shoulder roll.
And David's tall as fuck, bro.
Bro, David is a fucking cruiserweight,
bro. In all seriousness though, I think David, when there's a little bit more like when 175 is less political, if it will be in the near future, if he wants that Canelo fight, he better go up to get to light heavy because he's killing himself to make 168 right now.
Look, he's been at look. See, this is why I love you, son. I'm glad you said that because I think he's there. That like your dog. If you look, Canelo about to fight Plant, right? You don't have no guarantee that you get Canelo after that. No likelihood you won't. You might not. What if Canelo goes back to Matchroom? Then what? Or what if Canelo start fucking with Top Rank because they got the belt holders at 75? You ain't got shit. You don't have no belt. You don't have no belt at 68, no belt at 75, and you still on that island. The worst part is, let's say you go up to 75, you stay at the PBC, but you go up to 7. Who you gonna fight, bro? Badu Jack, Marcus Brown. Who are you gonna fight, bro? He got to get off that island. Look
Yeah.
at what he's fighting Uskateki. What comes after Uskateki?
I'm pretty sure David and Uskateki was gonna be was for the IBF rankings because David's already number 1 WBC, I believe. But also in the IBF, he's gonna be he's already like number 3 in the IBF for 168, I believe. And I think the Uskateki fight would have been like a final eliminator, I think.
Get him mandatory status, the whole shebang bang, get the whole fucking shit.
Oh
right?
yeah, that's been his plan. Once he got stripped, he said he's just gonna. He said he literally said Canelo can't avoid me because I'm already high in the WBC.
And he can.
Exactly. That's what I was like. You think the WBC won't?
You think that because of it? Listen, when the Gennady Golovkin shit happened,
He not
throughout that whole fucking shit, right? Throughout that whole fucking shit, you still have people that swore by Canelo. You still had them, right? So if the buzz that Triple G had was not enough to turn everyone against him, not everyone, right? That wasn't enough. What you think? David Benavidez ain't even known like that, bro. Canelo could win all them belts, tell you to fuck off, and head up to 75 to fight Dimitri Bivol at 75 with good old buddy Eddie Hearns. All right.
I have like a somewhat high opinion of David if he's on his shit and not fucking with the coke. I think he. Yeah, but my opinion's gonna change if you don't get off the island. If he seems like a kid that doesn't want to fuck around, and I mean, I'd hope that eventually he sees like, what's going on with the people around me? These dudes, Charlo ain't fighting nobody. Nobody's fighting nobody on my side.
Did you see when they interviewed him at the Chris Arreola versus Andy Ruiz fight? That motherfucker, look, I ain't psychic and shit, but that motherfucker looked fed up.
No, because we're all human, bro. We're all fucking human. Fighters ain't no different. You can look at somebody and you can tell, like how they feeling towards something. Like when Charlo had that fucking interview about Montiel, he looked fucking sad.
Bro, I seen that interview with David. If you're David, right, just think about the situation. You don't have Caleb. Canelo has Caleb. You was on the same side of the street as Caleb, but it didn't happen. You might have wanted him, but your promoter wanted to wait. It is what it is. Your promoter wanted to wait. And that's on camera for those that don't know, right? You don't have Caleb. You have no belt. This outfit don't have shit for you to fight for at 75 or 68. Your only hope is that Canelo maybe considers you. What are the chances, bro?
Not likely.
What are the chances?
Because compared to Bivol, he's high. Benavidez is high risk, low reward. Because he can go up to 175 in a fight with Bivol, even though I think it's less winnable. But it's a better.
But at least it's for this is the shit. At least it's for something.
Exactly, it's for a belt. Fighting David.
I'm gonna take a risk on and I'm not knocking this shit. I'm cool with either fight. I don't care. I'm not Canelo's manager. I'm not his publicist. I don't care. But both of those fights is dangerous. You a damn lie if you don't think B-ball is a dangerous fight. Yes, at 75, that's a dangerous fight. And if you want it to be for a belt, it has to be at light heavyweight.
Exactly. My thing with the B-ball fight too is I was like saving my opinion on it if it was gonna happen when it was being negotiated. I was saving an opinion on it because I was like, all right, let me see what weight it's gonna be at. Because Bivol, he's a small light heavy. So I didn't think that even a weight cut wouldn't affect him. My thing was the time frame. But let's say if Canelo gets undisputed and down the line he does face Bivol at some point and it was like the 173 or whatever. I don't know, man. Canelo got balls taking that fight at 173. That ain't.
I'm gonna say this. Look, Canelo has reached the point that I've seen a lot of fighters reach, and now that I'm older, I understand it. That Canelo don't owe David a fight. At this point, Canelo don't owe nobody shit. And if he want to go up to 75 and fight the guys up there, if he want to drop all the belts after he win them, whatever he want to do, he has fought to that position. All right, he fought Trout. He fought Lara. How the fuck is it? Canelo fought. It's too much dumb shit in boxing. All right.
Yeah.
Jamal was in the right place with the same stable, the same outfit, that have the same platform deals. You didn't fucking fight Lara, but Canelo did. So you could turn around and act like Canelo owes you something. He fought Trout. He fought Lara. He fought Golovkin. He fought Cotto. He fought Jacobs. He fought Kovalev. And you fucking fought who, bro? That somebody owe you something. Same shit with David. And I don't think David's a bad kid or a bad fighter. But
it's
who
the
the
same.
fuck
It's
have
the
you
same thing.
fought that somebody owe you something? Who?
Yeah, I've always felt that like these guys are interchangeable. Like if you told me after Plant, Canelo fights Benavidez, okay. If you told me he fights Charlo, okay. Is Boo Boo, okay. It doesn't matter
Okay.
to me. They all have thin resumes and are champions.
The
They're on the
days,
same level. They haven't separated themselves.
the days of combing through the resumes to formulate the argument are over because I fucking reiterate. Canelo fought Trout. Canelo fought Lara. Canelo fought Cotto. Canelo fought Golovkin. Canelo fought Jacobs. Canelo fought fucking Smith. Canelo fought fucking Saunders. Canelo fought Kovalev. Canelo about to fight Plant. David, who have you fought? Charlo,
Yeah.
who have you fought?
Okay, let's not forget that people romanticize this situation of boxing. These are prize fighters. Most of the guys boxing right now, the guys used to talk, they are earning, they are winning good money. Canelo Alvarez has worldly generational money
Yep.
right now. So if he retires right now, he doesn't have to work a single second of what is have to left.
Honestly, yeah. He could
That's
retire right
yeah.
after he could retire. You know the shit? He's like, and once again, I am not a Canelo stan, but the facts are what the facts are. The man has been a professional boxer since age 15. Here today at about 31 years old, he has generational wealth. He is already a 4 division champion. At whatever he's doing now is literally extra. He don't need. Look, let me tell you how much he need to be undisputed. Charlo don't want to be undisputed. He don't. He been at middleweight for 2-3 years now. He ain't chasing that shit. They got a lot of fighters like that. Canelo is only doing what he wants to do at this point to
'Cause he
make
can.
history because he can.
Yep.
He don't need to be undisputed. He just wants that shit. He
Yeah.
don't need to go back up to 175. He don't. Nah.
But he
I'm
wants to
remember,
challenge himself, and you gotta respect it. Like my
Charlo
thing,
is the same age almost as Canelo. Canelo is a 4 division champion that has fought 7 active reigning world champions. More champions if I add the former champions, the guys that used to have belts. That dude don't need shit from nobody.
yeah, people gotta realize that shit. Like Canelo, like these guys aren't on his level. They just think like, I feel like people forgot the A side status and like the star status above everybody else. Like they think like, oh no, Canelo is just on the same level. But no, dog, he don't need to be undisputed. That shit is just
All
like,
right,
why not?
let me deal with the troll. First off, how old was Andre Ward when he retired? And I'm not trying to go in on Andre Ward, but here's an example of the double standards. Andre Ward was never undisputed. Andre Ward was not a 4 division champion. He was a 2 division champion. He was never undisputed. All right. He's held about as many belts. He's actually held less belts than Canelo. When Andre Ward retired, I believe he was like, what, 32? Around there?
Yeah, 30. Yeah.
About 32 years old. Canelo's 31. You understand that? He's younger than Ward was when Ward retired, but he's more accomplished. And you're wondering why I say he could retire. Ward retired a 2 division champion, having never been undisputed. And Canelo can't retire a 4 division champion? Remember, Canelo held 3 alphabet titles at middleweight. He's holding 3 now at super middleweight. 2-time lineal in 2 divisions. And you telling me he can't retire? He was a champion at 154, unified. No, yeah. He was a champion at 154 more than once. Champion at middleweight, champion at super middleweight, Champion for 5 seconds at light heavyweight, and you wondering why I say that. Hold on. It's about history, legacy, some cash cows. I mean, what the who? Once again, who made more history, Canelo or Andre Ward? And bear in mind, I'm an Andre Ward fan. I'm an Andre Ward fan. I'm not a hater of his. I'm an Andre Ward fan. But what I'm telling you is, there's been fighters that retired and they had not done half the shit Canelo did. So when I tell you that he could retire, that shouldn't sound crazy. That shouldn't sound crazy. Ward retired with unfinished business. Adonis Stevenson was the last puzzle piece. Did he go get him? No.
Yeah, that shit. I don't know why, but that shit always bothered me. Like, it left a sour taste in my mouth about Ward. I'm like, dude, why didn't you go fight Stevenson?
And you know why I think? This is why I don't blame Andre Ward for the shit. Remember, Adonis Stevenson was on the PBC side of things. He was on the PBC side of things. I looked at that situation and I'm like, look, man, Adonis Stevenson probably won't fight this dude because of the promotional boundary line bullshit. So I didn't even fault Ward for that. I'm like, dog, you gonna try? Look, the Kovalev fucking fight, it didn't happen. Remember, it was supposed to be Kovalev Stevenson, bro, and that fight died on the vine. So if you Ward, yo, I beat Adonis Stevenson to the punch to fight Kovalev. So I know I ain't gonna get Stevenson in the ring because these two motherfuckers should have fought before I even got here. They should have fought, and they didn't. Why I'm gonna waste my time? That's how I looked at the shit, and that's why I never went in on him for that, because I'm like, he had to know, or he had to look at that like, man, this fucking dude ain't gonna fight. This is gonna be red tape for the next 2 years. I don't got time for that shit. All right, I beat the unified guy. I beat the number one guy. I'm out.
Okay, the Andrew Ward situation, let's say, has a little bit more drama because, he had a very close fight the first time against Kovalev, Andrew Ward, and the second fight he goes there and stop him. Yeah, okay, looks very good, but if we are talking about the actual facts, Canelo is more accomplished.
Oh,
There's no question.
Look, let's put it this way. Let's say that Canelo retired after the second Golovkin fight, right? Then now we cooking with rice. Canelo was a champion at 54, champion at middleweight, right? And if he would have left it there, then his resume would be comparable to Ward's, or Ward's resume would be comparable to his, because Canelo's resume would be a lot thinner than it actually is. But he did a lot of shit since then. He did a lot of shit since them Golovkin fights.
Jacob, Smith, Saunders, Kovalev.
The thing with Canelo is most people expect more from him because they see the last fight and they say, this shit was easy. It was an easy fight. The Video Sanders was a bomb. Carlin Smith, it was a bomb also.
It's crazy because Ward's 168 resume don't look that much different.
Now let me read the super chat. Shout out to Jaime Nieto, who says Canelo got to fight everyone. When he beats Plant, haters gonna come up with of course Jaime, ya tu sabes, come up with the next monster. Yet all these other fighters sit on the sideline. The next monster is here, and it's David. And once again, I don't want people to confuse this with being an attack on David. I'm just telling the truth. Who is David, and what has David done that Canelo Alvarez has to stop everything? Like, no, dog. If he don't care about that dude, he's reached the point to where he could act like, bro, I don't owe nobody shit, because y'all haven't done a quarter of the shit that I've done. Y'all haven't done a quarter. Not a quarter of the shit that I've done. Look for the next joint. I like David because he wants to fight everyone, unlike Jamal. I'm a fan of Canelo and David. I would like to fight too, but I'm being realistic. If I'm Canelo, I don't owe nobody nothing, bro, because nobody out here is doing what I'm doing. So why would I do all this shit so that I can let y'all tell me what to do? Suck my dick. I'm going to do whatever the fuck I want. I might fight Jake Paul next. just to say fuck all of y'all. None of y'all have earned a fight with me, man. None of y'all don't want to fight each other. You standing online, single file. Every single one of you greedy fucks is waiting for me, and you don't want to even take the chances that I took. You don't even want to take a chance on each other. But I'm supposed to give you your biggest purse. You fuck out of here. That's why when he act, look, I don't blame Andre for a lot of shit. Some shit is his fault. Some of it ain't. But if I'm Canelo and I just beat a champion, right? I just beat an unbeaten champion, and here comes somebody else bothering me after I just had a fight. How you think he feel? Like, yo, dog, all of y'all think I owe you something because you not hot and because you not popping. You know, it's 10 guys just like you that think I owe them.
All look the same to Canelo.
Of course I'm going to be disrespectful.
People are forgetting that Canelo Alvarez is compensating these guys the fuck up. 10 millions. 8 millions. You don't want 8 million. You don't want 10 millions. Caleb Plant, how much it was?
Bro, that dude was fighting. Look. This is what's out there. This is the information that's out there. It's under $1 million. You know what he was making per fight, but I know he got paid a little more than that. He probably was making 1.5 million a fight, probably more than likely. All right, but you're not a $10 million fighter though. You're not. Really, I don't think you are $1 million fighter. Not in the business sense of the word, because you're not hot. You're not popping, bro. The only reason this fight has $50 million attached to it is because of him, because of Canelo.
No, the only reason all these guys are waiting to fight Canelo is because he's gonna offer 8 to 10 times what they actually are earning.
Ain't that
That's
truth?
the only reason. If for fighting Canelo are earning 1 million, 2 million, they are not taking that fight.
They won't take the fight because that's the situations that they in now. Let me read this super chat. When Andre Ward was active, he was my favorite fighter. I got a real question. You think he's trying to stop Undisputed because he didn't do it? I'm gonna make it so simple. 100% yes. Andre, look, and I know there's some. I've had Tim Bradley on here before. I don't know if he watching. I don't know if he gonna go back and tell Andre Ward what I said, but I gotta speak from the heart. I'm not a dishonest person. I 100% believe yes. He wants to stop that from happening because he didn't do it at super middleweight and he didn't do it at light heavyweight. That's the one missing puzzle piece to Andre Ward's illustrious career. He never became undisputed. He always came close, but he never did it. He could say that there's no rivalry. I saw the interview. He said, oh, there's no rivalry. Canelo never mentioned me, and I never mentioned him. But I notice a pattern with Andre. Whenever there's a fighter that's popping, he start acting funny style, like Gennady Golovkin is popping. Bro, you going through promotional issues. Why you worried about him? He at middleweight. You don't campaign there. What you worried about him for?
That shit always, that whole situation for years always had me annoyed. And people still bring it to this day. I'm like, yo.
No, they bring like who got like, yo, you look. At that time, if you Gennady Golovkin, you got Miguel Cotto holding a WBC title, and very soon Canelo Alvarez will be moving into your weight class. What pugilist, what prize fighter, what promoter would say, nah, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to send you to 68 to fight Andre Ward, who hasn't fought in 2 years. To make what money, bro?
Yeah, Ward, you're not, like, no. That whole situation was stupid as hell. And either way, it's like, when Ward came back, he was a light heavyweight. He literally said, I ain't fighting Triple G at 168. That's people are doing the same shit people are doing with Loma and the franchise stuff now with Devin is basically what they did with Triple G and Ward. You can see it's so simple what's going on.
Like when all of that conversation kicked off, Gennady Golovkin had already signed the papers for the Lemieux fight. Literally, that's when all of that went down as they were making the Lemieux fight. But they knew Canelo Alvarez is going to be here very soon. I remember the only reason Cotto versus Canelo went through is because Golovkin stepped aside.
Cotto had to pay like $800K, right, to Golovkin?
Well, Cotto, this is the thing. Cotto didn't pay. That's the funny shit. He stiffed him. Better still, they got him to stand down, let them fight, and you get the winner. That was the agreement that they reached, and that's why Golovkin was breathing down Canelo's neck with that WBC, because that was the agreement. I'm gonna let y'all fight, even though I'm the mandatory. I'm gonna let y'all fight. Y'all do y'all thing. Y'all can fight, but I get the winner. All right. You got Cotto and Canelo fighting. Why the fuck would I leave this division to not go make no? It's like it's common. I'm not gonna make no money with no motherfucking Andre Ward at 168. No, and the reason I say this, it's not that I care about the money. It's that if Andre Ward were in that same situation,
He'd do
he would
the
have made the
exact same
same thing that Golovkin would have
Exactly.
did.
Any
Yeah.
fighter would. Any fighter.
Any
Any
fighter.
fighter. And to me, it's like, bruh, that situation was so simple. Ward, when he was at 168, he became inactive because litigation issues. Okay, Golovkin comes to the U.S., starts building himself up. He's talking all this rah-rah shit. Ward, you ain't even fighting right now. So I don't know why you even mentioning Golovkin.
It's
Then you
that
finally come
hating.
back.
It's that hating shit.
Yeah, bro.
Remember, while Ward was away, that's when Golovkin started being fake popping. Oh, Kazakh Thunder, all this bullshit, all this gimmick shit, right? That's when he started being fake popping.
Yeah, they were
while
promoting him.
Because, yeah, and they were promoting him.
No, they did a good job. I can't even front. They did for a foreigner like that to get that fight. You can't
I ain't even
you gotta
mad at it
respect
because he looked like the motherfucker from Mad TV. You know Mad TV, the goofy snaggle tooth, gap tooth motherfucker from Mad.
Yeah,
That's what
Golovkin.
he
Yeah, he
looked
got
like.
that foreigner look.
Like that's what he looked like. But they promoted the guy and they made something out of the guy. And while all of that was going on, Ward was away with his promotional shit. And you see a guy, he start popping, he start fake popping. Everybody like him. Oh, Gennady Golovkin, drama show. I'm a huge fan, Jules. You real and you always unbiased, dog. I appreciate that. Hey, I appreciate the love, bro. But like I said, to me, it is hate and it is shade. And honest, right here in my heart, I honestly believe the reason he really helping Caleb is to shade Canelo. And it is what it is. That's the
It's
world.
true. Because why you ain't helping Canelo then?
Yeah, like remember, that's why I asked that question. I wanted to know who reached out to who. Who reached out?
Exactly.
Because that says a lot. If you reaching out to him, why you getting involved in this shit? This
That's like
is
some girl
his.
shit, bro. That's some.
That's what I mean.
That's corny.
This is his motherfucking moment, and this is his motherfucking fight. Now, unless you got Canelo Alvarez over there talking to Joe Calzaghe, right, getting tips from him, it ain't even. It's not even. He's not consulting nobody for Caleb, or oh, you want to jump in and be involved. You want to be involved. Why? Let him fight his fight, bro. It's his fight to win. It's his fight to lose, but it's his fight. All right.
Yeah.
You being there, you ain't there for no reason.
Yeah, he's because I guarantee you, if it was like Caleb versus Benavidez for Undisputed, he would not be in that fucking man's corner. People, same people that hated Triple G back then are the same people that hate Canelo now. Like you said before, it's the same
It's
thing.
the same people.
When it was about
when it was about he a hype job, the whatever issue they had with Golovkin. Canelo this, Canelo that. Y'all was on Canelo dick when all of that was going on. Now you flip the shit. Now it's like, come on, be like, yo, I don't. And I don't have time for people like that because the conversation is bored. If the question is, what do I believe his motivation is? Yeah, you don't want to see him do what you didn't do. You don't want to see him do what you, because you didn't do that. All right. And I'm glad Eson said this because I 100% believe it. If it was Caleb Plant versus David Benavidez, Andre Ward, he won't get involved.
It's true, yeah. And
won't get involved.
People just conveniently forget certain things. Like I remember when Canelo beat Golovkin, they were like, oh yeah, Golovkin's a fucking hype job, oh he finally lost. And now like the hindsight is like, dude, them same people are hating on Canelo now. But it's like back then they didn't want to acknowledge that Canelo dumped that belt.
They endorsed when Jeff beat Manny, they endorsed Jeff.
Crawford beat Jeff. Oh, he's a bum.
He's a bum. He's a bum.
It's
Manny crosses over to the
people.
PBC. Manny crosses over to the PBC. The people that have hated Manny Pacquiao for years. Oh no, Manny's the shit because he's with PBC now. He's the shit. He's the fucking
the same
shit.
people.
It's the same
It's literally
people.
the same group of people, and it is
the same people that hated Golovkin is the same people that now hate Canelo. It's the same people.
And guess what? The same people they said Golovkin was ducking when he came over here, the same people they're saying Canelo's ducking now. It's like, what? How about, all right, if these guys are ducking these dudes so much, why don't they fight each other and build a name up? Do what
Because they
Golovkin
don't
did.
want to do. Because they don't want to do no work. They don't want to do no work. All right.
Like to me, if I'm Charlo, it's like to me, how you let Golovkin, a foreigner, come over here? He's able to build more hype in your country than you, and
Because
get the Canelo
nobody
fight.
excited. You know what? Bro, nobody is excited for no bitch shit. That's
Exactly.
literally like, if you want to understand why you got a whole stable of fighters that don't nobody really even give a fuck about, it's because ain't nobody gonna get excited for no bitch shit. You wanna babysit the WBC title at 160, right? You don't want to fight Andre. That's the fight. That is the fight. Don't lie to yourself, and don't let people lie to you. That's the fight. That's your fight, and you don't fucking want it. Golovkin don't give a fuck about you. He gonna fight that Japanese dude for all that money. He don't give a fuck about you. You wasting your own time talking about him. But it's a guy. He got a belt. He's your rival. He's been your rival for years. And instead of doing what Legacy do, nah. So
He more worried about fucking getting his card declined for a damn sandwich. Bro, that shit blows my. How can these dudes say, "Oh, Canelo's ducking Charlo," all this that, but like,
nobody
Charlo
believe
won't
that.
even like no.
Nobody believe that.
But
You
it's like they
went
don't.
12 rounds with Juan Montiel.
Oh, I
bro.
hate.
Nobody is ducking you.
God. I hate when I bring that up. I hate when people make excuses. Like my boy Ronnie, Ron Boy Fresh, love him. But every
Hey, I
time
love Ronnie too, man.
but he be, oh my god, when he says he said this every time. He says it's alright. Charlo needed them rounds in from his left. I'm like, bro, no,
bro,
like
look,
stop.
look, I love Ronnie.
Oh
Ronnie
my
is
God, that's
very
my
good
guy.
people. That's my guy. But that's just one of them things. We're not gonna agree on that. Montiel is the type of dude you supposed to put that guy away, dog. You
Imagine
are.
if Canelo went 12 with Montiel
What
or
would
Golovkin.
people say, bro? What would they like?
What if in 2016 Golovkin went 12 with Montiel?
Bro.
Oh my God.
Bro.
Oh my God.
What would people say? Like, yo, Canelo went 12 with who? Montiel.
What if Canelo went 12 with Fielding?
I remember people saying after that fight, after Charlo versus Montiel, felt saying shit like, "Oh, Montiel has improved." And
no, hell no.
After the
Hell
Munguia
no.
fight,
Yo, I guarantee you put Montiel in there with Yanni Beck. Watch that shit. That shit don't go the distance. Put him in there with Yanni Beck. That shit don't go the distance,
he
man.
decapitate.
I feel bad for Yanni
He'll kill
Beck.
that guy. He'll kill that guy.
I feel bad for Yanni Beck because all right, let's say, because I know his Mando status is around January next year when it's coming up and shit, but the fight probably won't happen until like, months after. So I'm thinking like, all right, let's say he faces Boo Boo. Even though Boo Boo's my cousin, it's fucking boxing. I don't give a fuck. I think Yanni Beck's gonna win. I don't care. I think he's gonna win.
Yeah, like
because
look,
I know Boo Boo close and I've seen him in the gym before. I know what he can and can't handle. I've seen his style before. And he's getting.
I'm gonna say this. It's not just the style. It's not just that. It's the age.
Exactly. I was just about to say he's older now. He's not 28 no more, dude. His reflex goes so much.
Demetrius, he looked young. He looked young. He got the power genes.
He got that Cape Verdean skin. That's why, boy.
Well, it ain't even a Cape Verdean. It's because he's a space creature like me that we don't really age like that. Like it's gonna be 10 years before I look 10 years old. Yeah, I'm a space creature.
But yeah,
I think he a space creature too. And he don't look 30 something or whatever, but like that dude is 33 going on 34, bro. That Yanni Beck dude, he looking for blood, bro. That dude is not playing.
He's and like the thing with Boo Boo too, it's like if people haven't seen him much because throughout his career he's been pretty inactive. He because he had that whole Rock Nation shit too.
That issue.
Yeah.
And the issue that he has now, like I really thought, when he get the Matchroom, Matchroom has a big wallet, they got a big platform. I thought that was gonna be the end of the issues. And no, it's more issues because he has everything that you don't want in an opponent. He's tall, long rangy guy, athletic, moves around, he's a fucking southpaw. Ain't nobody gonna pick that situation. Like, bro, I don't want to fight no tall, long ass jabber that's also a southpaw. No, I'm not gonna pick that.
The worst part is that's turning people away, and this is really what it is. It's the money. There's no money in like that. I mean, like there's no money in that fight for people.
No, they took care of that, bro. They took care of that. Like, look. That the money, as soon as he jumped into bed with Matchroom, it stopped being about the money. They offered Charlo $7 million, bro.
Oh no, that is true. Yeah, no, actually, yeah, you're right. So that's not even. I don't know.
It's not the money. It's he has, as far as boxing, Demetrius ticks off on all the boxes that you don't want in an opponent. He has a good jab. He's a fucking southpaw. He's young. He's tall. He has a long wingspan, and he moves. He's rangy. He moves around. He's awkward. Those are all the things that you don't want in a night. You don't want none of that. So even for $7 million, you talking about guys. Golovkin, they offered him. I remember reading that they offered Golovkin and shit. Look at what Golovkin chose to do. I'm gonna sit out 99% of the year
until the last 3 days.
It's
bro.
wild out here, yo.
Do
you think about that? Like, yo,
yeah, I do.
You're not gonna fight the whole year?
Yeah, that shit. Like, I be talking to my boy about that, because I'm excited for the Murata fight. Because I know it's gonna be a good ass fight.
But bro,
it's the
it's
been over a year, dude. It's gonna be over a year, and you're 40 years old.
No, not nobody gonna tell me that some part of that ain't. Nah, I'm not fucking with him. No, that's what that is. I'm not fucking with him. All right,
yeah, it's true.
Your stablemate. That's your stablemate. The fight is easy to make. He has a belt. All right, like Murata got a belt, but you want to fight Murata. You didn't even consider. Oh, I'm gonna fight. No, you don't want to do it. Shout out to Jaime, who says Jamal talked all this rah-rah online about David, and when David called his bluff, he said, "Oh, of course." And I pray. Look, after I get off this live, I'm gonna go on the roof and I'm gonna dance naked, so the boxing gods can make so the boxing gods can make Benavidez versus Charlo, because I honestly believe David, that fight,
he'd kill him.
David will kill him. David will fuck him up, man. He'll fuck him up real good, man. Real good. Like, he'll fuck him up, and that'll be the fight that catapults David to that I don't need a belt, bro. I am boxing. I don't need a belt. He beat that guy, beat the shit out that guy, but Jamal won't take
a statement.
Fight. Name another generation that ducks that. I can't, Willie. I really can't, because
there's more money now than back in the day, and people took more risks back in the day.
Listen, bro. You had guys like Oscar, right? And I talked about this in a previous video. That dude, after the Chavez fight, that dude fought like 4 or 5 times or some wild shit like that. And Oscar was the cash cow at that time. But he was busy. Like, he's getting busy. You got motherfuckers that they card get declined at the and you don't think you gotta fight people? You don't think that's wow. Like,
got your card declined trying to order a fucking bacon, egg, and cheese.
That shit is crazy. Think about how wild it is that, like, your dog, you literally went to like a diner or a lounge. You ain't have the bread in the account to pay for shit, and you really gonna sit there acting like you don't need to fight. That's crazy. That's wild.
I wanted to say too, with the Triple G Murata shit. It's not even like, let's say if Triple G would have fought early this year, but then end of the year he wants another fight. If he would have picked Murata over Boo Boo, I wouldn't have cared, because at the end of the day, they're both champions. It is what it is. Murata's a bigger fight. I understand it. I'm not like, you fighting a champion, you're fighting a champion. It's whatever. The problem is you had all fucking year and you just didn't do anything. That's what makes me sick. And I'm a Golovkin fan.
I'm gonna go a step further, Isan. Most people don't realize the IBF, even though they satisfied their mandatory obligation with Zeremata, right? He wasn't ordered to fight Zeremata. They petitioned. They asked for it. So that's saying that, yo, instead of fighting Zeremata, yo, you could have unified with Andre. You could have. What and what I don't like about it is that people are what do they call that shit? Intellectually dishonest. You say that Andre is a piece of shit. You say that, oh, everybody beats him because he sucks. You say that, and then when I look at it, all I see are people that decide to go the other way. That's all I see. The money was there for Golovkin. You know, the zone was willing to pay for the fight. The money was there, so it wasn't about the money. It wasn't about the money with Golovkin, and it wasn't about the money with Charlo, because the fucking money was there.
A few years ago, I understood that shit though. Now, a few years ago, I would have understood that the money thing.
Well, Andre chasing Jamal, he says he'll never fight him because of some beef with his. That shit is whack, bro. Like, what kind?
It's
Look, think
fucking
about
boxing. This ain't the
it.
streets.
It ain't even that. If you gonna talk about beef, so you telling me that when you got beef, you don't fight. That's how you handle the beef. Like, I'm not gonna fight you because we got beef. If that ain't that, what
It's
planet
stupid, is
is
what
this?
it is.
What planet is this? So
$7 million, bro.
we got problems. We got problems. We got old history. We got problems. And I don't even fucking like you. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna not fight you.
Go knock him out and make $7 million at the same time.
What planet is this? Like on
bro,
this planet, bro. Morales, Barrera, they hated each other. But in this world, in this new boxing world, they don't fight. They don't fight because that's how they do it today. Oh, we got beef. We got beef. Let's not fight. Let's not fight.
Stupid as hell. He just, I don't know. Charlo's a fucking waste of time. He's becoming one of the most overrated fighters of this fucking generation.
Oh, that shit is fucking wow, bruh.
Shit, man. Golovkin could redeem himself, fight Murata next year, fight Boo Boo, but it probably ain't gonna happen. But if he did that, I'll be all right with it. I'll forgive him.
I don't throw Golovkin a pity party because the way that you came into being as notoriable as you are is because you were supposed to be the legacy fighter and
All
the
about
honest,
the belts,
right? And the honest fighter. That's how they sold him. That is how they sold him. All the belts, big drama show. And then you got exposed that, yo, it's not about all the belts, bro. You chose the money. You chose the money. And it's cool, dog. It's prize fighting, it's pugilism. But you chose the money, right? So let's not play no violence over here. You playing the same game as everybody else. And we gonna talk about you and treat you
the same way.
Because you was trying to make us think that you was different. Nah, you not. You the same as everybody else.
I think a part of it too is that like I'm not trying to give him a fucking pity pat either. I'm looking at shit from how I feel about it too, and I kind of get it. Like maybe you feel the fucking whole boxing shit fucked you over a little bit with that whole Canelo situation, all them years of people ducking you. I get it, and now you're late in your career, and you're like, you know what? Fuck all them motherfuckers. I'm gonna get my money and be out because I tried this shit the right way and it ain't happened. I get it. I feel the same way. I came over here, did the right thing, got my big fight, and I got fucked over. And now I'm older, and these motherfuckers want to pay me a bunch of money.
That's cool.
But it ain't gonna get you a pity pat though.
I'm gonna just say that, look, and maybe he feel that way. I don't doubt that he does. Honestly, that makes perfect sense. All the puzzle pieces fit. When he was young and he was in his prime and he was strong, he couldn't get the fights that he wanted. So now that he's older, he's telling these young guys, "Hey, this is what they did to me."
But now you're a hypocrite, and people are gonna call you now. Now you're what you hate. That's just how life is, though, yo.
You either die a hero or live long enough to see yourself become the bad guy.
That's some shit.
Never been spoken, man.
Yeah, and like I said, I understand it, but it don't mean I'm okay with it. I do understand it, but it don't make it okay. He needs to fight Boo Boo, man. Like for real. That's a legacy fight. He's a 2-division champion, undefeated. That could be his legacy. He needs it. He really does need it.
And let me read the super chat. This is why, in spite of all Oscar's flaws and his drawbacks, this is why people love Oscar. Shout out to Hyman, who says people can hate on Oscar all they want, but he fought everyone. Cordy, Trinidad, Mosley twice, Vargas, Bernard, and Pernell Whitaker, and the fucking list goes on. And that's the truth. And that's the truth. And that's the motherfucking
Oscar was
truth.
a motherfucker. He was a motherfucker.
Listen.
He was, like, for real. He wasn't appreciated, I feel like, enough.
No, I hated him because he beat Chavez. My whole youth, I hated him for beating Chavez. Don't you know what I mean? Like, yeah, I fucking hated that guy. But when I look back, it's the truth. Like, yo, that dude, I'm telling you, and I'm gonna say it again. I'm gonna say it again. If you got Oscar in a time machine and you brought him to today's welterweight division, Oscar versus Thurman.
Easy, Oscar.
Easy, motherfucking peasy.
The only dude I give
Oscar versus Spence.
That's an easy fight for Oscar.
That was a different era of what Felix Trinidad in this era. Like, that was just a different era, man. Like them guys, they wasn't playing, man. These guys is playing. Like Keith is the perfect example of y'all playing. You are playing. You getting fat and eating ice cream because you lost one fight. You lost one fight. How you think Oscar felt giving away them rounds to Trinidad? How you think he felt? But he picked himself up. He dusted himself off. He had more fights. You lost one fight and you go cry in the corner. It's crazy out here, B.
Yeah.
Look,
The only person. Go on.
I am a huge Golovkin fan for
Yeah,
a
I
very long
liked him in his
time.
prime too, but he's on some bullshit now.
Yeah, I know he is on some bullshit. I am still a fan, but if he doesn't fight Dimitrius Andre after Ryota Murata, it's not even about the money anymore. You don't like the odds.
Yeah, you don't like the.
Yeah.
I mean, to me, it's there. To me, it's there because it's
Look,
simple. If you felt you could do to Andre what you did to Lemieux, you would have took the fight because you made less money fighting Lemieux than you stand to make fighting Andre.
Yeah, exactly. Because the money is there. You're not gonna win that kind of money with Andre that fighting any IBF contender.
Yeah,
Exactly.
it's true. And the zone, and we already see the zone's not doing like. Besides this Murata fight, I don't know who he thinks he's gonna fight and get some big because they're holding back now.
He might retire. He might fucking listen. If you look, they've been paying this fucking guy. He got 14 million.
So much money.
14 fucking million, dog. 14.
And you wonder why he ain't looking at Charlo.
It's like and I get it. I'm just like, and at the end of the day, what we're doing is we're just characterizing our own emotions. Ultimately, he's gonna do what he's gonna do. We can't stop him. We can't control him. We can only react to what he's doing. And when I look at the situation, I say, this is not about money. You just don't like your chances. That's what it is. Because the money is there. The opportunity is there. You just don't like your chances against this guy, and you like your chances better against Murata. And it is what it is.
Yeah. And I think the longer that Golovkin waits, even though he's older, I feel like Boo Boo's decline, it's hitting harder than what people may like really realize it as right now. Because that Williams fight, man, Golovkin's feet ain't as fast as they used to be, but they might be quick enough to get to Boo Boo. I've been saying that for a while. That's why I'm like, I want to see that fight for multiple reasons. I think they can trouble each other for real. I think later in the fight, it's going to be interesting.
It's opposing styles. It's the action fighter versus the pure boxer. It's opposing styles. Orthodox versus southpaw. Pure boxer versus boxer puncher. Jabber versus heavy hitter. It's everything you want in a fight. But
also their flaws play in too, because Boo Boo he's been gassing out much more than he used to now. His conditioning
he's got a fucking guys taking it to him. Liam Williams, I really thought he was gonna remember the beginning of that fight. It looked like he was gonna knock Liam out in the beginning, and Liam found another gear and he kept going.
It's also because it's been like this for years too. That Boo Boo's tank has always been like a little, I don't know, like the second half of the fight. I feel like he's always like really dropped off of the second half of a fight, and I always thought to myself, I think he'll trouble Golovkin for the first half of the fight, but back when he was throwing them crazy jabs and really digging to the body, I always felt like, dude, late in that fight,
he don't fight like that no more.
Exactly.
Ever since he left Sanchez, he got all his Mexican style shit. He don't fight like that no more.
Also, because he's fucking old now, so he's like, yo, I ain't trying to get hit like that no more. Fuck all that
but
shit.
The other shit is Jonathan Banks got him looking fucking weird, B. Like, he was moving and shit. I was like, yo, this shit look mad weird, B. Like, why you moving so much? Just hit that motherfucker. Like,
it's like he was thinking too much. I'm like, bro, just fucking let your hands go. That's all you gotta do, bro.
Like, how you getting cerebral with Zaramata? I'm like, bro, this is not the time for this shit. Can you get this fucking guy out of here, please?
Like, there is no merit of being cerebral against Zaramata.
Yeah, like the fuck we supposed to say, like, oh, because he moved a little bit. He the new Pernell Whitaker because he was moving with Zero. Like, yo, get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, no, like I was like, bro, just get this. I mean, like, I get it, like, you know, like lay off. You trying to work on new things. I fucking got it, but still, like, just get this fucker out of here already. Goddamn, like, you could tell anytime you wanted to. But I just feel like
Let me read the super chat. I grew up in a Mexicano family, and when Oscar and Chavez fought, my whole family was divided. My tia, tío, abuelito, abuelo, and bro, listen. When he fucking fought Chavez, bro, I made a decision that I'm gonna hate this fucking dude forever, and I hated him ever since. That and because he made that stupid ass album that he was saying, I'm like, bro, who the fuck he think he is cutting records now? You cutting records now? I hated that dude. But looking back, if you just, I invite anybody that has a low opinion of Oscar, go back and watch his fights, and I bet you'll change your mind because I tell you,
he
if
was a
you had a,
motherfucker, man. Holy shit, yo.
he was a motherfucker. He was fast, he was strong, he hit hard, and he
His
wasn't
left
scared
was
to fight.
ridiculous.
Retarded,
His left
retarded.
was. I was watching one of his fights earlier. I'm like, damn, dude, Oscar was. Who do you think got a better resume, Oscar or Canelo?
Honestly, Canelo, because Canelo has. You know why I say Canelo? Because Canelo didn't lose his big fights. Oscar did. There's always
Yeah, I
there's
know.
gonna be
Yeah.
controversy. Like there's people that think that Purnell beat Oscar. You know what I mean? Like there's people that feel that way. You look at Canelo. Well, there's people that think Golovkin beat Canelo. You know that there's those people that the first fight they scored it for Golovkin. So the controversy, the parallels is there. The difference is Canelo lost one fight to one guy, Floyd. Motherfucking Hopkins folded Oscar up like a beach chair, bro. He hit him to the body. That motherfucker
I
went
can't.
right down, B.
I remember when I was younger and when I was younger, I used to like see a fighter I like. I would just fucking binge watch a bunch of their fights. And I looked at Oscar fights. I'm like, wait, wasn't he fighting at like 135 before? Why the fuck's he at like, what was it, 157? I'm like, what the fuck's he
He's a
doing
bad
here?
motherfucker. He's a like no, not for
Yeah.
look the
I mean, you
Vargas
gotta
fight.
respect it though. You gotta
To me, the
respect it.
Vargas fight, it's guys that go their whole career and don't have a fight like the one he had with Vargas. Like to me, that's one of my favorite fights of his, the Vargas fight. And I'm like, think about the careers that's out there right now, right? Keith Thurman never had no fight like that. He never beat nobody like somebody that's talking shit. They want to beat the like it was like they really for real ain't like each other. And he beat the shit out of that dude. B. He
Yeah,
beat the
for real.
he look at Mayorga. Mayorga was talking so much shit. B. This type of shit make you want to shoot him like yo fuck a boxing match, bro. I got to kill you, bro. Like you talking way too much shit. Beat the shit out of that dude. It's guys like Thurman, right? It's guys like Gary Russell. It's guys like that. They don't have that. You gonna go your whole career and never have one of those, and that's why when it's all over, not nobody gonna remember you. They not gonna talk about you. You're not getting in the hall, none of that, because you don't have that. That's why Oscar could lose and motherfuckers still show respect because he had that Mallorca fight. He had that Vargas fight. You know what I mean? Yeah, Trinidad, Hopkins folded his ass up, but hey, at least he went up there. Gary been at fucking featherweight my whole life. He been at featherweight my
It's
whole
like
life.
it's like if it's like Oscar going to fight B Hop is like if Canelo went like right now if Canelo went to fucking light heavy and got
Fought
stopped.
Autor. Word, fought
Exactly. It's
Autor
like
some shit.
it's like it ain't like I don't really like put too much stock in him getting folded by B Hop because it's like I mean it's fucking Bernard Hopkins and you went up to 160. You're like a lightweight. I mean it is what it is.
Oh, Gary won't go to 30. Think about that. Look how many divisions Oscar fought in, right? And then think about how Gary won't go to 30 and Keith won't go to 54. And y'all really want to it's wild,
That
B.
fucking dude, that welterweight division we got today, dog, that shit's gonna age terribly. It's already aging
Bro,
terribly.
now nobody gonna be talking about no motherfucking Keith. Think about it. You think 10 years from now, motherfucker, you know Keith beat Danny Garcia. Fuck out of here, B.
And honestly, you know what's so funny? They give Bud the most shit in the whole division, but who's gonna be remembered the most?
Fucking Bud, bro.
Exactly.
I said it like Bud will get in the hole before them just because of the undisputed. It don't matter if you don't like Victor Pastor. It don't matter if you don't like
Yeah.
Julius Longdongo. That's history. These cats never even came close to doing that. They not even lineal when Thurman wasn't never lineal in motherfucking in fucking welterweight. Fuck out of here, B. Gary ain't lineal at feather. And y'all really think y'all it? Like, yeah, I'm it. You supposed to pay me 3, 4. Yeah, I motherfucker. You keep thinking that. That's why you ain't got a fight date. Keep thinking that.
If I'm Josh, honestly, Josh beats Catterall. If I'm Josh and I move up, it's like I'm thinking like, could he do the WBC route to become a mandatory for Arrow?
I mean, he could, but it's wait. Who we talking about? Josh Taylor?
Yeah.
Yeah, he could do that, but he won't because it's the affiliations, bro. If you Josh Taylor, right? You Josh Taylor, you in bed with Sky, you in bed with Top Rank. Fuck, I look like going after some PBC guy that his eyeball hurt. What I'm gonna do that for? To waste my own time? Why
I mean,
would I
shit.
do that?
But if he moved up, became Arrow's mandatory. He fuck around, beat Arrow's injured ass, his scrap metal ass. Takes some 2 belts. Fights Crawford. Man, that 147 is a fucking whole different script now.
Listen, bro, Willie, Canelo on pads, they don't beat that guy. I'm just playing. I'm just playing. I would favor Canelo. It's hard to see him losing because I've seen a lot of them, and it's hard to see Canelo losing a fight. To be completely honest with you, he's
And
been in there. He's been in there with pure boxers, boxer punches, pressure fighters. He's been in there with guys that can punch, that guys that got real power. And the dude, he has what you need. He don't always look the flashiest, but he has the shit that you need.
experience
Jules,
as well.
Jules and Panel, what's your opinion on the Oscar Tito fight? I know people say he ran the last 2 rounds, but I felt he outboxed him. Look, bro,
That's
he was
perception.
listen, he was winning that fight, but it's like, you know what it's like, honestly? It's a tenuous parallel. It's tenuous, don't get me wrong.
Manny.
No.
Oh.
It's like Conceição and Valdez. At that level, the championship level, you just don't do that. You need every round.
Yeah. The judges
You
don't care about how he's missing you. If he's doing shit, it's his activity.
and I know that a lot of people go to that Oscar took the last 2 or 3 rounds off, that he laid off because he felt he had a comfortable lead. But it's that kind of situation to where you don't understand. This is a championship boxing match, all right? And I know the championships, perhaps they don't mean what they, but I'm just telling you, you need every round and you need to act like it because this fight is going to be over. And when it's over, they're not going to tell you what you want to hear. You need that fight, that fucking fight was a high level fucking fight. All right. That's the highest. That's not just a championship boxing match. That shit was major, especially in New
Yeah.
York. It's Mad Porter Rocks in New York. That shit was major. All right. You can't do shit like that. And you talking about the what? You look, I want you to understand, right? These is the days of Pac versus Big, East Coast versus West Coast. The Chicano fans from the West versus the New York Puerto Ricans from the East. This was a call to all of that. And you gonna take rounds off. You crazy? You better fight like he trying to kill you. You better fight like you trying to die. You can't afford to take no round. And he was, because he had the hand speed. When you see them finally come out first round, you see, Oscar a lot quicker than Tito, man. He beating Tito to the punch.
Yeah.
Should have stayed on that shit, man. You would
He
have had
should,
it.
man. It's crazy because like Oscar, I can't. There were a few decisions where I felt like he could have won, but I feel like the judges sometimes they were just like, nah. I don't know what. I don't know. It's like it reminds me of Manny. Some of Manny's decisions, he just like got like even though I think he beat Horn, it was competitive. I'm just like I'm surprised. Like even Ugas fight, I'm like that's a competitive fight. I can't believe they just. He's a way bigger name, and these dudes just fuck him over.
Horn more than Ugas. I'll say that. Horn
Oh yeah,
more
for
than
sure.
Ugas.
Yeah,
Horn more than
yeah,
Ugas.
yeah, for sure. I
Because to
think
me,
Ugas deserved the decision way more than Jeff.
yeah,
Wasn't
because
even like I think
because Ugas, if you watch the fight, the straight punches from the outside, like he fought his fight because I recognize the fight, and I'm like, yeah, this is Ugas's fight. This isn't
yeah.
Manny's fight.
I remember you were live and I was on here too. We were watching it and I was like, I'm looking at the first round. I'm like, I saw the straight jab. As soon as Ugas landed that first straight jab, I said to myself, this is gonna be a long night. I said it's gonna be a long night.
And that's Ugas's fight. That if like what I like about Ugas as a fighter is he's not limited to boxing from the outside. He's not, because if you watch the Figueroa fight, you see that he beat the fucking shit out
He
of
lets his hands
Figueroa.
go. He lets his hands go for
Yeah,
real.
he let him go. Like he ain't Rigo. Like don't peg everybody for being Rigo just because they from Cuba. Like
And
that
he's a young
motherfucker.
35.
That motherfucker throw.
He's a young
Yeah.
that
35.
motherfucker
But
throw.
talking about Pacquiao, I see footage of Manny Pacquiao training for the Ugas fight. I saw Evander Holyfield training for the this fight against this guy, this
Belfort.
MMA guy, Vitor Belfort. Now I see. Now I recognize an old guy training,
Yeah, man. Yeah, man.
Yeah.
and Pacquiao doesn't have legs anymore.
He
No, he
doesn't.
doesn't.
No,
He doesn't.
Because
he
it's his
doesn't.
legs. It's his legs that, and I think that a lot of people watch their hands more than they watch their feet.
It's always
But
been
it's
his legs,
but it's his legs, the
his
bounce.
in and out movement, and the fact that
Thank you.
he's
And
so
it's the same
small.
for Rigo. It's the same for Rigo. Rigo can't do to these guys what he did with Amagasa and what he did with Donaire because his legs. It's Rigo has to make a choice when the bell ring. It's either I'm gonna stay away on the outside or I'm gonna be on the inside, but I'm gonna get hit. But it's no in between anymore for him because he ain't got the legs to bounce back and forth, to go in and out. That I'm gonna come in, pop, 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 get out. He
I think
can't
he's
do
gun
that shit
shy
no
too.
more.
I think
Fuck
Rigo's more
yeah.
gun shy than his leg. I think that's like like what he's lost is like to pull the trigger.
Lost
I
his
think that's what he's lost more
reflexes.
than
He lost
anything.
his reflexes. He lost his reflexes, and you need that because it's like if you
And he's
Rigo
a
has
little
always
guy too.
yeah, like look, if you look at the drills that he used to do where he'll catch something like he'll run and catch the shit and they'll throw the shit and he'll have to catch it, or that he'll roll on the floor, get up,
Mhm.
roll, get up, roll. He can't do that shit no more, bro. That
No.
dude is like 40. That they can say
He's
whatever they
fucking
want.
50. He's
That
so wrinkly.
motherfucker is wow old, bro.
Hey, Slim, my boy Slim.
That shout out to Ronnie. Rigo is an old motherfucker, dog.
Yeah,
Like, and
and I
that's
think
why he got to make a choice when he get in a fight. Either I'm gonna be on the outside, way on the outside, to where I ain't even fighting you because I'm so far on the outside,
his
or it's gonna
fucking
be the
back
hoop.
was turned to Casemiro, bro. That shit was crazy.
Bruh, watch the Seha fight, right? Go back and watch before the Laborio Solis fight. Watch the Seha fight, and you gonna see why he want to be on the outside. If I stay in the pocket with the
Phone
guy,
booth Rigo is gone.
phone booth Rigo, yo, he'll get blasted out of there, bro. That's the most I ever see. Loma didn't hit him that fucking much.
Yeah, and like with Manny, like people, like you said, people don't realize it's always been his legs, his low
It's his
center of
legs.
gravity because he's a short guy, and the fact that like in the Thurman fight, Keith was backing up straight, and he thought he was too far for Manny's last to get him,
And
but his
he
fast
hopped,
ass legs,
and he hopped to him. He triple jabbed him, then mop. It's like yo,
yeah.
it's his legs, bro.
And if you look at Manny's like closest fights, like with the Marquez fights, what saved him was always those knockdowns because he's so like his fast ass hands and his angles, he hits you with shit you don't see coming. But it's the fact that you don't see it coming, and he's getting there like this in point two. You think he's so far away, but he's right there.
The shit about Manny is he got two real good things working for him. He's always had speed, but speed can be worked around. We see that with a Midcon because Bradis Prescott got con. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
so
exactly.
It's not just hand speed. It's that he's got hand speed and he's bouncy and he's a southpaw. It's like your dog, like everything is in reverse. The punches is coming at you from an angle that you probably don't even see them shit sometimes. And he wild bouncy. Like if 1 minute he looked like he there and he really not there. Then out of nowhere he be there. Is wow. He don't have that no more. And they all lose that because that's reflexes, bro.
It's you aging, yeah. Everything's slowing down.
Yeah.
I was watching the Thurman fight back the other day actually, because I was out of class and just chilling. Yo, I think it was like round 8. Manny knew Thurman's body. He had a glass body because I never seen Manny. He don't throw that many body shots. Julius, I counted. He threw like 10 straight body shots in a row to Thurman. I said he knew this motherfucker was there.
The writing for Thurman has been on the wall for the longest time when it
really
comes
has.
to because of the fucking what was it? The Collazo fight?
Yeah.
It was the Collazo fight. Since that, everybody like and Thurman, you could tell that because I remember an interview, right? And they asked him about the shit, and you could tell he was getting like fake emotional, like I didn't go down, no, but nah, but you was hurt, bro. Like you was hurt, bro. Like motherfuckers seen that, like you backed off, like and they asked him about it recently. I think it was Punch Drunk. Shout out to Mr. Moonshine. He asked him about the body shot. And I like the Thurman's answer for what it's worth, that he made a decision. He's not going to go down. And you know what? He didn't go down. But we could see, that body shot, that shit hurt.
I give Keith credit because even though I feel like he's weak to the body, that motherfucker does take some lethal shots down there, though. I remember in the Porter fight, even though Sean don't hit that hard, He hit him with a fucking flush liver shot, and I was like, "Ooh."
Bro, that's why in
Manny too, actually. Manny hurt him.
2016, 2017, that was the reason that I felt Spence could get him. Because remember, Spence was coming up, he was doing the body work. Everybody was, the body work from Spence. And I'm like, well, you know what? Thurman weak to the body, and Errol's a bigger guy. He's a southpaw. His jab's gonna come on top of Keith. See, not that Keith is much of a jabber because he actually isn't.
Nah.
But the body work, bro. He'll go to his body and he'll take him out. Anyway, look, man, it's getting late. Y'all know, Ronnie, y'all know. Everybody, good night. Motherfucking
Good night, yo.
tired. Pew.
See you guys.